G'day, battlers, and we are live for the Go Stadium League Finals. This is going to be a series of 3 streams over the course of this weekend. So I'll leave some stuff in the description about what that schedule is. But we are here today to go through the Azalea and Cherrygrove Go Stadium Finals. Now, if you have no idea what that means, we'll get into it in a little bit. But first off, I want to say hello to the 2 lovely people that are, I guess, flanking me at the moment. I've got the one, the only, the Reis2Occasion, as well as the ever lovely DPhiE250. So, I mean, how's it going? I mean, Reis, how you doing? How's it feel to be here?
It is going well, Steve. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, it's a good day. Every day is a good day for some great battles. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and
I'm also really excited to be here. I love that you chose 2 people straight out of Wisconsin,
Yes.
2 cheeseheads to lead us through these Go Stadium battles. And thank you so much for having me on.
yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if we see any other Wisconsin representation as we go through the stream. But yeah, essentially the way this works, we'll actually go to the next screen to kind of describe what the Go Stadium League structure is. So essentially, when you go into the Go Stadium, it's a sort of lobby system. So you go into a lobby with a bunch of other battlers that want to get involved with these sort of Sylph metas. There's also Go Stadium Cliffhanger metas, and they do some battles throughout the Go Stadium season. And at the end of the season, depending on people's performance, they might be promoted to a higher tier or demoted to a lower tier. So everyone will start off at the Ace Trainer tier, and then as you perform, you'll increase to Gym Leader, up to Elite Train, and then there is a single God tier for the best battlers in the Go Stadium League structure. So today, we're going to be taking a look at the League Finals for the Elite Trainer tiers and the God Trainer tiers. Essentially, we're going to be crowning the champions of each of these leagues. There's Elite Trainer lobbies in Azalea, in Cherrygrove, Pewter, Vermilion. Actually, not Viridian. That's a lie. There's a bunch of Elite Trainer lobbies that we'll see a few of over the coming days. But today, we're going to see those people be crowned as the champions of the Elite Trainer lobbies in Azalea and Cherrygrove, as well as some guaranteed people moving on to the God tier lobby. So straight away, we'll actually go take a look at the meta that is going to be used for this format, because it is a special format that has been developed by Go Stadium, the Horizon Cup. Now, obviously, there's a lot going on, but also it's pretty easy to understand the general bounds about what's going on here. So, I mean, DPhiE, do you have any kind of very initial thoughts, sort of seeing this meta about what's sort of going on?
I just love when metas kind of can take out the main players, your Azumarill, your Bastiodon, your G-Fisk, and really allow other Pokemon the chance to shine. A Pokemon that I don't see here is Abomasnow, so that's something that I picked up on that might be a popular pick, because it's still a really solid pick in Go Battle League. The other quick thing I noticed was the new addition, Kofagrigus, being just really OP lately with that addition of Shadow Claw.
Yeah, I probably should have actually taken the time to read it, in the sense that that first row is Pokemon that cannot be used in this format at all. They are just banned. So your Medicham, Defense Deoxys, Wobbuffet, Azumarill, Tropius, Galarian Sunfisk, Bastiodon, Probopass, Lickitung, Chansey, all off the table completely. And then the Pokemon on this bottom shelf, you can only use 2 of those on your team. And then the other 4 on your team can be built off from Pokemon that are not on the graphic. But I mean, Rise, as DPhiE was saying, there's it's nice to see some of those Pokemon like a Azumarill sort of taken out of the fray, so you get to see some extra stuff going on. But did you kind of have any initial thoughts about the Horizon Cup meta?
Yeah, I was glancing over it before this, and I saw a Medicham, DD, Azu, Tropius, Wobbuffet. I'm like, whoa! Like, a lot of Shadow Machamp's biggest counters are out of there. But then you look at the second half of the bands and you're like, Stunfisk, Basti, Probopass, Lickitung, like, those are a lot of the targets you'd want it for. So it seems like not only are a lot of the most powerful Pokemon banned, but it's a pretty balanced system of bans, where it's not like one Pokemon is going to run rampant where all its challenges have been checked. It seems like a well thought out ban list that's really going to create a diverse meta. But yeah, a lot of new Pokemon can have some extra play with these bans.
Yeah, actually, really, I think that is a very high caliber thought from a very high caliber battler up there. But I'm really excited to see kind of how these battles are going to take it away, which I guess brings us to take a look at the first battles that we're going to see. So the first half of this stream is going to be taking a look at Azalea, and then we're going to be taking a look at the Cherrygrove Elite Trainer Lobby after that. So taking a look at the bracket for the Azalea Elite Trainer League Finals, we've got here essentially. Some people have been seeded a little bit later into the bracket. So at the end of the season, there was a leaderboard, and they were sort of ranked, depending on how many points they'd be able to pick up over the course of the season. And essentially, we have Tony Jr. 3850 over on the right-hand side. He came number 1 at the end of the Azalea League season, so it was able to be seeded right into the finals there. We'll then take a look at a little bit to the left. We've got Citizen Erased, Superman 23, and Nom like Alax, who are all number 2, number 3, and number 4 on that leaderboard as well, who are then into the round 2. And in that round 1, we're going to see number 5 and number 6 face off in this sort of a single elimination format. And actually, this is something that does make this a little bit different as well, is that we are going to be seeing some best of 5 matches. So they have to win a full 3 matches out of 5 to take it out. And it's sort of a case where in a best of 5, you've got a lot more opportunity to learn about your opponent's team and how to strategize later on. Whereas best of 3, if you get caught off guard a little bit in that first one, you can get pushed off a little bit. But we will jump straight into it in this first matchup between Javi Ramos 93. I probably should have asked how to pronunciate that one, and also the Real D Long in the first round. So as I probably should have made more clear before, Reis and DPhiE are going to be the two that are casting these battles. I'm just going to be here to be a pretty face. But I mean, Reis and DPhiE, we've got the two teams on the left-hand side there with some graphics that have been very marvelously put together by Polymers Up. You can see that the top 2 in the left-hand corner are the restricted picks, and then the other 4 are the ones that weren't allowed. Both battles actually bringing that Shadow Machamp that you mentioned before, Reis. So, I mean, what do you guys kind of think we might be seeing as we head into this first round?
First thing that jumps out to me for Javi Ramos is the Skarmory. Skarmory is a Pokemon that's sometimes overlooked as a safe swap. People think of it as like a hard check, but in this situation, it looks pretty safe. It's really just the Unovan Stunfisk that checks it pretty hard, and everything else the Skarmory looks pretty good against.
Yeah, I just noticed, I know Abomasnow is probably going to be doing some work and has some opportunities here on the Real D long side, but if anybody who's ever seen me cast knows that Frostlass is my favorite Pokemon to use for PvP. So I'm hoping Javi Ramos has a chance to use it. It has maybe a couple opportunities, but I'm not super sure. I'm excited to see if Javi Ramos has a chance to use it.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one way to find out, right? So we'll jump straight into this best of 5 set, the Real D Long up against Javi Ramos. And I mean, take it away to the both of you.
All right, looks like we've got Jellicent up against Whiscash to start us off today. And we are taking a look. We can see that we have the Unovan Stunfisk as well as the A-Tails in the back for this one. So a couple things to keep an eye out for. Jellicent coming up with a Mud Bomb and a beautiful catch onto the Mandibuzz. So not very effective. And it looks like we're staying in, Rise.
Interesting. You can see there's an Alola Ninetales in the back, so I'm really... Oh, okay. Gonna swap in the Stunfisk, and it seems like the only explanation I can think of here is he knows the opponent's trying to lure out the Alola Ninetales, so something avoids it, and that's the reason he's coming in with G-Fist, because A9 versus Mandible, that's one of the hardest counters in the game.
Right, so we've got this Pancake flopping around, Discharge flying everywhere. We are not going to see a shield. We're going to let that Mandibuzz go down, wait out the clock for a while, and it looks like we are going to see that Whiscash come back in. So two Mud Boys back to back. I know there's a big, battle out there. Is Stunfisk a Mud Boy?
Controversial.
Very, very controversial take. But it is certainly a Pancake that throws mud. And here we've got the Jellicent coming back in, and there is that Skarmory.
Yeah, aggressive swap into the Jellicent. I like this play. Don't allow yourself to get farmed down. You already got rid of the Mandibuzz, so might as well swap in the Jelly. It looks pretty safe when Mandibuzz is gone. And yeah, I think this begs the question of why come in the Stunfisk against the Mandibuzz still for me? Because the A9 would have been great there, and the Stunfisk would have been great here. But either way, it looks like the real D-Long is still in a pretty dominant position.
All right, looks like we've got, because again, this Stunfisk has 2 shields to hide behind. We're not going to use them. Stunfisk lives that pretty comfortably, and here comes the A-Tails up against the Whiscash. So you can't take the shields with you, my friend. At some point, we are going to have to use them. We still have 2 shields on both sides of the battlefield. That is bonkers. So these 2 battlers are definitely waiting out. There we go. First, now we're finally going to start to see shields fly. Are we? No, we're just going to... I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous, Reis.
Yeah, there comes a point where fast move pressure starts to become dangerous, but he knows there's no really threatening charge moves here. The Whiscash isn't going to bother blizzarding. That'd be a pretty crazy play because it would do a lot more raw damage. Oh, but a nice catch. I guess you had to swap out eventually.
Okay, hits the weather ball. Looks like we are getting close to a timeout.
We are getting close to a timeout. Oh my goodness.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Oh, jeez. Not going to get there. That was crazy. Hard countered pretty much all the way, but danced around so much, kind of like Dancing Rob. When I've played him, I feel like he uses this dancing strat where he just tries to work around every matchup, and that was a big-time dance from Javi Ramos. I don't know if he's Latino or he was doing like the salsa dance, but yeah, Javi Ramos doing a nice job trying to stay alive while facing some pretty hard counters. Almost got a timeout.
For sure, and I think just that really good use of shields. I know it was making me nervous. Those fast moves were going to start getting there, but these battlers are some of the best, so they definitely know their stuff. They know when they can leverage those shields. Taking a look, we've got Shadow Champ. Both of these battlers have Shadow Champ, so we were bound to see it at some point. Going up against the Whiscash, getting a ton of fast move damage and farming up quite a bit. Looks like we're going to start using our shields early to protect against the Mud Bomb. We've already almost got 2 cross chops coming in. First one flies, and it looks like we've seen before the A-Tails and the Jellicent are coming back in for this second battle.
Oh, okay. Got a shield. Now the Machamp barely going to get off this cross chop because the aggressive... Oh, they took the cross chop. That's going to really hurt. And this Machamp is pretty much going bye-bye. Nice swapping by the Jelly. Doesn't even get to a Rock Slide. So the opponent's Shadow Machamp pretty much neutralized, but they still do have a shield advantage here with whatever's in back. Oh, and it's your Frostlass, DPhiE.
I know, and Frostlass does not want to see this Shadow Ball, so we are going to have to see some shields. Frostlass it's a big, heavy hitter, but it really, really needs an energy advantage, and it just doesn't have that here. So we're going to start seeing that Bubble Beam that got the shield. So with all shields down, are we going to let... We let the Shadow Ball go through. Very interesting.
And then swaps to clear that Bubble Beam debuff. Gonna get to a Mud Bomb here. Man, this is gonna be awfully close because that Machamp is essentially good for nothing. It's good for a sack swap potentially, but Dazzling Gleam. Never mind. I was worried for nothing. This Gleam is gonna do the job and take out the Frostlass. Nicely done. And the real D-Long up 2 games to none.
All right, very good. But yeah, Frostlass it needs the energy advantage to really be able to leverage it, so bringing it in a little late, I don't think it was able to be used to its full potential. But I'm excited to see. So we've got 2-0, I believe. Correct, Steve?
Yeah, and it is worth noting that while we are watching from the real D-Long's perspective, it doesn't actually necessarily mean that the real D-Long does end up winning. We've randomized the order of whose perspective we are going to be seeing as we head through these league finals. But with a 2-0 start, only needs to clinch that one more to get the 3 and win the best of 5 to go to the next round. But could this be it?
All right, we've got A-Tails up against Whiscash, farming up a ton of energy, and it looks like we are going to see the Shadow Abomasnow make an appearance this time. So we've got 2 Ice-type Pokemon, which is, I think, a pretty solid strategy coming from the real D-Long. Let's see if it pans out. Looks like we are sticking in this battle for now, Reis.
Yeah, 2 ice types, but because of A9's fairy typing, it only takes neutral damage from fighting. So, despite having double ice, you actually still have a pretty strong lineup against fighting. And for wow, that's an interesting shield. I guess going for a big farm down here from DLong, knew he was going to have to shield one of these mud bombs, so he's going to powder snow down here and comes out with a ton of energy for whatever comes in.
All right, and it looks like the Frostlass is making another appearance. Now we know this dazzling gleam hits like a truck, so it is shielded. And here comes the Abomasnow and Mandibuzz, which is running Air Slash, which makes this a lot less of a comfortable matchup for the Abomasnow. Because that one, even with that Shadow Boost, Mandibuzz is just so thick. You need to use quite a few Weather Balls to clear it out. Now it looks like all shields are down over on Hobby Ramo's side. And are we going to let the Snowman go? We are not. Snowman is staying in. We've got a ton of energy on it. So we're going to be able to clear the Mandibuzz and still have some remaining energy for the Frostlass should it be needed.
Yeah, and Frostlass, man, going to have to expend energy to avoid the Shadow Ball. This is going to be awfully close here because I don't think a Shadow Ball will quite one-shot the Jelly. Going for a catch. Oh, no. Oh, gets farmed down. That's horrible.
A failed catch. That's going to make this real close. Jellicent is thick, though, so one Shadow Ball isn't going to cut it.
Oh, just barely gets there. Just barely gets there. Knew the Bubble Beam. There's no point in settling for that. You had to commit to the Shadow Ball. And the Frostlass, it had to be awfully close to an Avalanche. I kind of lost track, but man, that's where the bulk of some Pokemon really comes in handy. And Jellicent able to survive the Powder Snows, resisted, and the Shadow Ball from an attack-weighted Pokemon is very impressive. It helps the real DLong seal the deal 3-0.
Yeah. All right, very well done. Congratulations to the real DLong.
And so the real DLong progressing on to round 2, who is going to have to be facing Citizen Erase to progress through this tournament. The real DLong may have won that 3-0, but still has to win another 1, 2, 3 games to be crowned as the Azalea Town champion. But only needs to win one more to be guaranteed a spot in the God tier. Anyone who makes it to those the greener pastures, you could say, the greener boxes, does get that guaranteed spot in the God tier. In the following Go Stadium season, so definitely only has to win one more to come away with a strong victory, something to show for it. But before we jump into that one, we are actually going to hop over to the other side of the bracket where we're going to take a look at Superman 23 versus Nom Like a Lax, and we'll get the teams up right now. There we go.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah, Sableye, a really, really popular pick, no matter what format it's allowed in. It's just super solid as a safe swap. Very, very few things threaten it. I'm interested. We see the Frostlass again. Maybe not like a Lax. We'll be able to leverage it. I also see 2 Charmers rise. I see Wigglytuff shared on these 2 teams.
Yeah, Wigglytuff, some hard checks on Superman's team. That the Empoleon Registeel double steal, that's going to be tough to bring the Wigglytuff if you're Nom Like a Lax, but it also has those 2 dominant matchups against Machamp and Sableye, so a little RPS there. The Pokemon that I like to bring in this is Meganium for Nom Like a Lax. I don't see really any hard checks for it on Superman's team. It beats Registeel with that Earthquake coverage. I think Wigglytuff can only beat it in the 2 shield, just charm. And I'm sure Machamp probably beats it because it outpaces it. But if you can get a farm down with that Meganium, that can definitely put in some work in this matchup for Nom Like a Lax.
Yeah, Meganium is certainly an overlooked Pokemon, and I love the opportunity it has here to shine in, like what you said, is a very, very balanced Go Stadium meta. So I'm excited to see these battles. I agree with you. I think we're going to be seeing this Meganium.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just jump straight into it. Take a look. Oh, we are jumping straight into it, and no Meganium yet.
All right, Swampert versus Empoleon. Empoleon has that very heavy waterfall damage, but look at that. Swampert already almost at 2 Hydro Cannons and at that Earthquake, which can easily one-shot this Empoleon. Looks like we are going for the bait with the Hydro Cannon. Does not bite. That takes a lot of courage to look an Earthquake in the face and say no. We do end up getting 1 shield, but these... and a catch onto
really
the
nice
Cresselia. Beautiful catch. All right, and looks like we are going to see the Skarmory come out to counter Rise.
Yeah, really nice matchup here for Skarmory. Just hard walls, the Cresselia. So I expect Nomlycolax to probably farm as much as possible, but Cresselia is so bulky and spammy, it's going to be able to do at least some chip damage here. Sky Attack coming through. Has to be aware that Empoleon left with some residual energy, so that Empoleon could potentially Drill Peck or Hydro Cannon later on in this matchup.
Oh no! You need to put your phone
Come on!
Come on!
Too popular, these battlers. They're big deals in their local communities. They've got everyone messaging them for tips. Gonna throw the Sky Attack right away. This Empoleon, even though it's resisted, it's pretty glassy. It's in Sky Attack range, and oh my gosh, this Sableye has a lot of work to do.
It does. Sableye versus the world. We still have 1 shield left on both sides, and here comes the Hydro Cannon. Sableye has to shield this, and yeah, Sableye's got to get through an entire Meganium that also has a shield. I think we can comfortably call this one for Nomlycolax. I feel pretty strongly about it. I don't like to call matches early, but it feels like this is GG's.
Yeah, Meganium gonna get there and take out the Sableye with that Community Day Frenzy Plant. Such a good move. And one thing I noticed in the early stages of that match is the Swampert versus Empoleon lead. Nomlycolax, he was tapping the Earthquake, but Empoleon got to the move first, and he changed his mind afterwards. And after he shielded, he changed his mind, went for the Hydro Cannon, but he actually would have landed the Earthquake if he stuck with his gut and went for the Earthquake right away and would have one-shot that Empoleon. So it's funny in these high stakes matches, kind of the second guessing, like should I do this, changing your mind last second.
It is definitely really tough. Would have benefited though from sticking with gotta go with your instincts. Going right back in, we've got Skarmory versus Empoleon, 2 steel birds. Skarmory not in a very good matchup, so we have that Meganium, which functions, like you said, Rise, is going to make a really good safe swap for Nomlycolax. Not really any hard checks to it. That Frenzy Plant does a wallop on Sableye. Yeah,
Sableye able to absorb. It must be a pretty high rank XL Sableye. I'm impressed how well it took that, considering Sableye's so glassy, but another one coming in, and now you have decisions. If you're Superman, do I shield? He is going to shield. Wants to get off this move himself, and yeah, lots of decisions having to be made here, but Meganium shields, and it's going to take back switch.
All right, but Meganium no longer has shields to hide behind, so gonna have to be careful. Here comes Cresselia, and these Frenzy Plants are still gonna hurt. No shield from the Cresselia. Cresselia doesn't really need to shield here. It can take this Frenzy Plant as well. But how much is Cresselia going to farm up? What move is it going to throw? Here we go. Must have been a CMP tie. That looked like it came real fast. Grass Knot, not enough to take it out. Looks like we've got to switch into the Skarmory and the Empoleon comes back in.
I'm not sure I agree with this swap because you're switch locking yourself against the Skarmory, or against the Empoleon, and your Skarmory now is going to get farmed down, and if the Empoleon can farm up enough, it's going to wreak some havoc against Swampert. But, oh man, Skarmory putting up a fight, getting off a second Sky Attack here, and gets the last shield, and this pretty much puts it into Hydro Cannon range. This is going to be awfully close.
For sure, and we also have that Meganium to serve as kind of like that third shield option to potentially make a catch if needed. So Hydro Cannon's going to come through. It is going to hurt, so it's whoever gets to the charge move first. It's the Empoleon, and I don't think that Meganium had a move.
Oh, nope. My goodness. Oh, wow. Well played from both sides. And Superman, something he did there was he didn't just blind throw his hydro cannon. He did one waterfall, which allowed him to see, and it gives you that split second to react. Waterfall being a 3-turn fast move. The Swampert has a 2-turn fast move, so you're not going to be able to necessarily sack swap on alignment there. You'd have to like wait a turn, and I think that's why Superman did that extra waterfall, because he had so much energy. I think he definitely went over it. I could be wrong, but Superman being patient there and not giving Namlik-Alex a chance to make that sack swap.
All right, patience does certainly pay off. We are 1-1. This is battle 3 of 5. Looks like we've got Empoleon into Sableye. So Sableye getting to the charge move first. Let's see how hard this hits the Empoleon. Ooh, I'm agreeing with you. I'm thinking that's an XL Sableye. That was a powerful hit. Gonna shield the Hydro Cannon, and I don't know if that was an attempt at a catch. It seemed a little early. What do you think, Rise?
Yeah, I think just didn't want to take a chance of getting farmed down, so just wanted to get out of there. Sableye, we know, can be so dangerous with energy. Going straight for the EQ here. Let's see if the Registeel decides to shield. It doesn't!
No!
Oh, lands the EQ. I like going straight for it there, because people are hesitant to go down to no shields in a relatively early part of the match, so a nice call there by Namlik-Alex.
All right, shielding the Flash Cannon. Are we going to be able to Vine Whip down the Registeel? We are. So Meganium ends this, has some energy going in. Meganium, no shields. We've got one shield left on Superman's side. So are we going to see it here to save the Sableye? We are. So Sableye looks like it wants to get another move off. And I think that's going to be enough to knock the Meganium out. Oh, not quite.
Oh. Meganium tanky. Oh, but this Empoleon, not what Namlik-Alex wanted to see. Gonna go for the Brave Bird. This is gonna hit awfully hard. Oh, but not as hard as I thought, to be honest. And the Empoleon's not quite able to farm all the way down, even after the severe defense fall. Oh man, this is gonna be so close, because these waterfalls will chunk, forces the Empoleon to throw energy. And because that Meganium had just thrown a Frenzy, I don't think it has any energy. A little bit. Oh! Okay.
Oh! It needed to farm it down and just was not able to do it. All right, so now we are 2-1. I believe that was Superman taking that second match.
Yeah, nice recognition from Namlik-Alex. Had to commit to the farm down. If he throws the Frenzy, he just gets Shadow Clawed down. So committed to the win con. And just was barely unable to get there. And we've seen some mixing up of the lines. We saw the Empoleon introduced from Namlik-Alex for the first time. I'll be intrigued to see the different lines in game number 4 from these two.
All right. And I don't think we've seen any Wigglytuffs yet. I don't think we've seen Charm come out to play. There's too many Steel types. And speaking of Steel types, we had 2 to start, but here comes that Shadow Champ getting to that cross chop so quickly, and just gonna start wreaking havoc. These Frenzy Plants do pack a punch, so if Machamp wants to stay in this, does have to burn a shield.
And Superman was so quick on that swap. He knew the Meganium safe swap was coming. He's like, I've got my Shadow Machamp ready for you. And was able to not let the Meganium get too much of a head start at all.
Rockslide doing a bunch of damage to the Skarmory before dipping out. Namlik-Alex has yet to burn a shield, kind of waiting out the clock, and here comes that Registeel back in. So I'm thinking we're going to see a Brave Bird and dip into the Swampert, but the or maybe we're going to let Skarmory stay in for a while? What do you think about that, Rise?
This is interesting. Maybe trying to call the Empoleon in back? And saving shields for Swampert, I think that could be the play. And up a shield, man. Swampert could wreak some havoc here. Oh, shields the Focus Blast successfully. A little bit of mutual lag. They're catching up. Going for the Hydro bait. This won't KO, so this is a bit of a risky bait. Gets called.
And has to throw that energy again. Swampert has a ton of work cut out for it, so it has to clear this Registeel plus the Sableye. With even shields, Swampert is down a little bit on health compared to that Sableye, though. We'll see who's going to blink, who's going to use the shield.
Calls the Hydro. That I don't know if that head start of energy Swampert had is going to be enough. Needs to get to 2 Hydros here. I think he's still 1 away, I believe. 1 mud shot away. It's going to be awfully close.
Like might have it. Oh, no!
Oh, so close. Man, a game of inches. And looks like Superman is going to take this set 3-1. Wow. Superman, I think he made some really nice team reads there. He was expecting the Meganium safe swap, reacted so quickly, and he wreaked havoc with Empoleon early on in this best of 5, and then didn't even bother bringing the Empoleon in the closing game. So some nice mind games, and I really like the team comp strategies we just saw from Superman.
I agree. I think using the Sableye as well, just bringing a lot of that quick, hard-hitting damage. And I'm still surprised we didn't see the Wigglytuffs even with all of those steel types running around, because Neutral Charm could have kind of gotten rid of that Shadow Champ, that Sableye. So it's tough to say, but again, these are some amazing battlers. Congratulations to Superman for taking that one 3-1.
It's a little bit of a game of like, that's how best of 5s can go. Like as Rise was saying, like that Empoleon was a real carry in those early games, but as you kind of get on, you don't want to make yourself too predictable. You don't want to let non-Lax be able to read you like a book from that point on and win those final matches to catch up and get the final 3 games, for example. So there's some extra strategies that are involved, I think, that open up when you move to that best of 5 format as opposed to the best of 3, which Superman certainly was able to sort of capitalize on. So Superman is progressing on to the elite bracket. Unfortunately, we don't have a graphic for that at the moment, so we'll just have to update that on the next one. But Superman is progressing on and is going to God tier in the next Go Stadium season, but still has to win 2 more games to reach that championship spot up against the first one, up against whoever wins between Citizen Erased and the Real D-Long. So we're going to see the Real D-Long come back at it, have to take on another opponent. And let's take a look at the teams here. Citizen Erased coming in with a very sort of interesting team as well. There's some picks we've seen. There's some picks we haven't seen. What do you guys kind of think about the matchups we're seeing here? And this time, taking a look from Citizen Erased's perspective. So we'll see the Real D-Long on the other side.
Okay.
I love seeing the Nidoqueens on the... Mine was real quick. I love seeing the Nidoqueens on the team. I just love how much more play it's getting ever since the poison buff we saw a couple seasons ago. Also, Mew, Swiss Army knife of a Pokemon. It's always so interesting to see which moveset the battlers choose to go with.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the same sort of thoughts. Nidoqueen can be so oppressive with that poison jab, poison fang. If you can get it in a neutral matchup when you're up shields, or even shields, it can put in a lot of work. And it looks to have a lot of play for Citizen Erased against Machamp, Abomasnow, and A9. But does have a few hard checks with Jelly and Stunfisk. And then I'm a huge Mew fan. Mew's always a staple for me in GBL or even in some Sylph formats. And I'm always intrigued to see what moveset people are running. And I think this is the first Scrafty we've seen. Scrafty, a very strong Pokemon, seems to have like 3 solid matchups. Jelly, Abomasnow, and Stunfisk is pretty solid. And then has some pretty hard checks with the Machamp and with the Nidoqueen. So Scrafty seems like it could put in a lot of work, but it's a little bit of a risk to bring as well.
Something interesting that I was kind of noticing as we sort of plodding along here is that the teams are showing a lot of variety, but I don't think we've had a match yet that the 2 players aren't sharing some Pokemon in a unique fashion. It started off with the Shadow Machamp. We went, then it was Wigglytuff, and I think there was something else in that last one as well. And now we're seeing the double Nidoqueen. So it's kind of interesting that there's some shared wavelengths going on these battlers. But we'll jump into the battles here, the 3rd set in this best of 5 tournament to get the champion, and we've got that Mew straight away, DPhiE.
I love it. Let's see what set we've got. Looks like a pretty standard moveset of Surf and Wild Charge. But Something the Machamp did not want to see, so we have switched into a different matchup, Skarmory on Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah, because it's Powder Snow, it's not a bad matchup by any means for Alolan Ninetales. They're both hitting each other for neutral damage. The Weather Ball debuff hurts it a little bit since that occurred, but Skarmory putting in some work, and it looks like Skarmory's at least going to force a shield with the Sky type, but man, so spammy. 3 Weather Balls before 2 Sky attacks. That's how spammy it is.
Yep, and just wanted to get in this last Sky attack, so did burn a shield, so to pressure this Alolan Ninetales a little more. So we've gotten over on the Real D long side, no shields left, so this Mew is able to do some work. Looks like we are going to finally use that shield. I was getting nervous, guys.
It's the opposite of before, right? People were using their shields to the very last moment. Now shields are coming up right away.
All right, looks like we've got 2 surfs coming through on this Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is a fantastic Pokemon, but it is definitely afraid of water. Could not stand up to those surfs coming in back to back. So here we've got the Alolan Ninetales, but we still have that Wigglytuff in the back. So that really strong neutral charm that can just kind of reign free with that Nidoqueen out of the way.
Yeah, Mew barely getting to this, and he knows about that Shadow Machamp. Yikes. This thing's just getting deleted. You know, a Rock Slide will close to KO here. Only gets to a Cross Chop anyway. But you see how much damage Machamp was able to do there against Wiggly. So in the zero shield scenario, because Wiggly takes neutral damage from those counters, Machamp can actually make the zero shield kind of close, but if the Wiggly has any sort of shield or protection, it just melts the Machamp.
So fantastic battle. So that one went to Citizen Erase. So Citizen Erase takes the first of 5, putting some pressure on the Real D Long to try to battle back. Yeah,
a lot of strong Pokemon in Citizen Erase teams, and a lot of Pokemon only have one check. Like the Skarmory's only hard check really is the Stunfisk. The Mew's only hard check with its moveset is Abomasnow. Wiggly's only hard check is Nidoqueen. So I think Citizen Erase knows he's got the odds in his favor.
Right, and Dugong is a Pokemon used to be everywhere. Everyone was gunning for that double legacy Dugong, and we just haven't seen it as much. So in this more limited meta, maybe Dugong getting a chance to shine as an ice type, as an alternate to maybe that Alolan Ninetales taking up one of those reserve spots. So here comes the Wigglytuff. Charm damage, just neutral damage on Charm can do a ton, but so did that Dazzling Gleam. Are we going to be able to see a Farm Down, Charm Down? Absolutely not. And it looks like we are going to let the Wigglytuff get down to very little health.
Oh, got to a Weather Ball the last possible second. Oh, it's going to draw a shield too. Oh my gosh. Draws a shield with just a few HP, because that's how much Citizen Erase wanted switch advantage here, apparently. And gets off an Icy Wind. This Dugong, a really nice matchup against the Nidoqueen, because of that ground typing, going to be dealing super effective. But as you see, Nidoqueen, even in bad matchups, it can fight along with this oppressive poison damage.
All right, and it looks like we are seeing a swap out for Mew onto Stunfisk. So how does this matchup going to play out here with Mew's moveset, Rise?
I think it definitely has the advantage with Surf, because as you saw, the discharge did well less than half. So it's going to need probably 2 Mud Bombs from here. If you discharge again, you've got to get a big Thunder Shock down. So I think the Mew is in control, but yeah, knows that it can take one more, so not going to bother shielding.
Yeah, so it would take a lot of Thunder Shocks to be able to farm it down, just not there, where the Surf will easily be able to clear that Pancake out, and then an immediate swap back into the Dugong. Dugong it has a shield, so it is easily going to be able to get to this Icy Wind and clear the Nidoqueen out to take another win for Citizen Erased.
Yeah, really nice usage of shields. Could have been tempting for some battlers to shield the discharge on the Mew, but really needed to save it for that Dugong to get off that Icy Wind in the end game against the Nidoqueen. So I thought Citizen Erased, really nice usage of shields there. It was kind of an awkward lead situation, because you have a good lead, Dugong into Nito, and then they swap in A9, which is like also kind of good for Dugong. I guess it's like a pretty neutral matchup, but yeah, was able to just play it out, find the win con.
All right, very, very nicely done. So again, that brings it to 2-0 in favor of Citizens Erase. So let's see how this third match goes. Swapping out of the Jellicent. Oh no, the Citizen Erase just showing a dominant lead matchup, very easily winning switch. So this is going to be rough with that Abomasnow essentially already deleted.
Yeah, Abomasnow only gets it gets to 2 because it had that one head start. So this is pretty big. At least the real DeLong's able to force a shield here in what was looking like oh my gosh, comes in with the jelly against a boosted Scrafty. I don't know if this means the real DeLong has no answer to the Scrafty or if he's just sacking the jelly because he knows that the jelly's useless against the Wigglytuff anyway.
All right, well, the Shadow Ball clears it out. So now we've got Wigglytuff and Mew. So here comes Ninetales, Powder Snow Ninetales. So it's going to get to its moves faster. Looks like it charged up a ton. It should have probably 2 Weather Balls, I would think, by now. Oh, goes for the Dazzling Gleam and lands it.
Wow, big time call, landing the Gleam. Now just going to spam off Weather Balls here. That was a huge 50-50 call, and now you're still in a tough spot because the jelly doesn't want to eat a wild charge by any means. Oh, but Ninetales gets to another move, and this is going to be an awfully close finish.
Yeah, Mew survives it. So we still have a shield in play for the Jellicent and also for the Mew, but oh my goodness. Okay, so the surf goes through. We get the shield. Wigglytuff is basically gone. Is it going to get to move? It does!
My gosh. Oh my gosh, Wiggly getting to a move at the last possible second, saying, "I'm playing rough today." And yeah, Wigglytuff. Oh my goodness. The hexes were threatening to the Mew when it was so low, so that got me worried. But the Wigglytuff, even though it only had red health, there was no chance in heck it was getting hexed down from there because Wiggly has so much HP, and that normal typing it's going to double resist those hexes. So Wigglytuff able to seal the deal in what was but credits are with the real DeLong because it looked pretty RPS for Citizen Erased, and he made that pretty dang close despite getting hard countered.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. I thought this battle was going to be over very, very quickly when we saw the first 2 seconds of the match, but the real DeLong really put up a very strong fight. But again, congratulations to Citizens Erased for taking the 3 matches to win the best of 5.
And that does put us into the next battle. Both of those battlers, Citizen Erased and Superman 23, securing their place in the God tier in the Go Stadium tiered structure. So now it is, from here on out, it is just a case of fighting for that town champion spot. The coveted title that you can then go around flexing, put in your Twitter bio, put it all over the shop that you are the Go Stadium Azalea Elite Trainer Champion. And there's only 2 battles to go before we crown that. So first off, we've got this Citizen Erased going at it straight away. We've seen a lot of we've seen 2-0, 3-0, then 3-0 in that line of the bracket, whereas Superman able to get that 3-1. So we'll see which of them is able to take it out. We'll take a look at the teams over here. We're watching from Superman's perspective now, and again, we've got the double Wigglytuff. So they're keeping the theme of making sure they've got some sort of consistency in their teams of 6. But these are both teams that we've seen before, both battlers we've seen before. So how do you kind of think that these battlers might go into this battle? I suppose, Citizen Erased certainly did come out of that one in a little bit more of an RPS scenario. So do you think that this might be another place where there aren't too many counters around, or do you think there's a little bit more play on both sides?
You can go for it, Rise. I'm not seeing one Pokemon that can clearly completely tear through the other.
Yeah.
Are you seeing something I don't?
I'm with you. Nothing's jumping out to me that's gonna roam free. I think this is a match where the matches that I don't like as a player, when you know that there's nothing I have that's super safe to swap. I think everything has at least one hard check. I guess Registeel looks pretty strong for Superman. Registeel looks pretty strong. really only has the Scrafty to really watch out for. But hard beats Dugong, Skarmory, Wigglytuff, and then Nidoqueen it's a favorable matchup for Registeel because an Earth Power doesn't KO because the Poison Jabs don't really do anything. So it's really just the Mew, which is neutral, and the Scrafty to watch out for if you're Registeel.
But then
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Mew, again, looks pretty solid on Citizen Erased side. Trying to get that Surf and that Wild Charge damage, just being able to generate energy super fast. But Superman Sableye looks kind of good too. Has to watch out for the Scrafty. It's going to be tough. Very balanced is kind of the word that's jumping out at me looking at these two battlers.
What I'm kind of hearing from the both of you is that Citizen Erased Scrafty may be a key player to bring into these battles to make sure that everything's sort of got some coverage. But, there's also a Machamp, there's also a Wigglytuff, so there's nothing that's safe. Everything has to be scared, and there is only one way to jump into the minds of these players and take a look at what they did end up bringing into these battles, only 2 battles away from the Town Championship.
All right, a Cresselia lead, very interesting, going into the Skarmory. So we're going to see a swap into that Registeel. You mentioned it looked pretty safe, but it has to be scared of that Scrafty. Going for the Focus Blast right away. And we are going to see that early shield.
Yeah, and the Registeel knows it can at least get a shield in this matchup, but the dangerous thing is the Scrafty is going to vamp up a ton. And if this Reggie can't get to this next charge move, the Scrafty is going to be a huge problem, and it doesn't get there.
All right, so taking a look, Empoleon doesn't want to start getting hit by those double boosted counters, so you have to come back in with the Cresselia. So the fast moves, there's absolutely zero fast move pressure that's happening here. Look at that foul play. Switching out of the Scrafty, so clearing that boost, interestingly. So Empoleon going to start dealing that really heavy neutral damage waterfall onto the Skarmory.
And, not looking too far ahead into the battle, but I think that swap out could potentially be the game-winning play. Lands the Brave Bird, be the game-winning play from Citizen Erased because he preserves the Scrafty instead of just letting it get moonblasted, which allows him to take out the Empoleon, and now this Cress is against the world, as you would say, for whatever's in back. Oh, and it's the Mew.
And the Mew's just gonna... This is what I always get worried about with these battlers, going down with 2 shields. That is a hurt to the pride. So Citizen Erased taking that first battle with the Mew in the back.
Just a dominant performance there from Citizen Erased. I think Superman had a similar thought to me, was saying, if I safe swap Reggie, at least I can get shield advantage against the Scrafty, but you're also not dealing any fast move damage with the lock-ons, and you're allowing the Scrafty to get boosted and just wreak havoc against the rest of the team. So what maybe seemed like a solid strat didn't really pan out in that game 1. We'll see if Superman can make some adjustments.
All right, and now we've got the Mew up against the Registeel. Mew going to be able to get to those surfs really quickly, but Lock-on's nothing to joke about either, so going to be able to start throwing these flash cannons. Mew soaking that first one, surprisingly. And
Ooh.
What a catch onto the Wigglytuff.
Pretty awkward time to catch it, but sometimes you just go off of feel. You're not necessarily going off of a certain count. You're just I think he's going to throw right now. And he got the nice catch.
I believe Cochino Mom calls it using the force. You use the force to help you out. So it looks like undercharge on the Sky Attack to be able to farm up just a little bit more going into this next matchup, letting that timer run out before bringing the Registeel back in to be able to pressure with those focus blasts.
Yeah, and with all the shields still in play, that Mew is going to be really tough to deal with for Superman with the Cresselia in back, because your Psycho Cuts just aren't threatening, so we might even see a shield come up here if you're Superman.
Yep, and you called it. There is that first shield coming into play.
Oh.
Looks like a catch. Are we catching a Surf or are we catching a wild card? We are catching a Surf, moving in, and is that Scrafty again. So What are we going to see? Is the Scrafty going to ramp up and be able to get away with a lot, or?
I think if you're the Scrafty, you just go straight foul play at this point, because you get to the foul play pretty much the same time. Oh gosh! Oh my god! Moonblasted! Got moonblasted up with 2 shields. Oh my god. Okay. For those people watching, for Steve, for DPhiE, you might be wondering, what on earth could you possibly be doing? Still playing it out, Registeel. Oh my god. Oh my god. Surf. Coming in. Wild Charge. Takes it out. And wins the game! Knew that Mew was the win con!
It was all part of the plan.
It was all part of the plan. Oh my gosh.
I can't get my hand off of my head. I think I'm stuck in this
position. Too much just happened. I thought it was over, but I thought that was the play, was to let Scrafty go, because the fast move damage wasn't threatening to Mew, so you just get off moves with Mew. But I didn't think it would actually work.
And that's why these battlers are some of the best. These are god tier battlers, and they are showing it off for us today.
Oh my god.
All right, we got to recover into this next battle. We've got Registeel into Skarmory. So we've got 2 Steel Titans. We've got 2 Steel Titans battling it out. Registeel definitely can apply a lot more pressure here. Focus Blast taking well over half of Skarmory's health. I'm anticipating a Brave Bird and Dip, or are we just going to let the Skarmory go?
Man, this is bad. Mew countered by the Sableye. This foul play would KO, so if you're the Mew, you kind of have to shield to at least get off some damage here. So this will be interesting if the Mew goes straight for Wild Charge, or if it throws a Surf, because Wild Charge would do quite a bit here. Does land the Wild Charge, and it is going to get off a Surf, so really nice job from Citizen Erased. He's taking what should be a pretty bad matchup and making it not that bad, able to get the Sableye pretty low.
All right, let's see what we've got coming in, letting the clock run out. And here comes that Wigglytuff. Sableye had energy, but it all just disappeared with a couple bubbling hearts from that Wigglytuff. So here comes the crest. We've got 2 very thick Pokemon left on Superman's side with the Registeel, with the Cresselia. Letting that Moonblast go through, taking Wigglytuff down to about half health. With that stab Moonblast, looks like we are going to let this Ice Beam go through. Crest lives it, though, being an incredibly thick Pokemon. And then we're going to let this Grass Knot fly. Still no shield, saving the shield, it looks like, for the Skarmory.
Yeah, knows that the Registeel is kind of the win con here. Oh, wow. Even gets the shield with Flash Cannon. I guess Flash Cannon would have almost KO'd anyway, so you kind of have to shield. And the Skarmory is just going to get outpaced here. And I'm not sure the Reggie's even in Brave Bird range, so Registeel going to have a pretty easy time here against Skarmory. And then the Wigglytuff is awfully low. These lock guns not doing the job, but going to Flash Cannon. And obviously, this will be plenty to KO the Wigglytuff from here.
All right, very, very well played by Superman. Now, Steve, I just about had a cardiac arrest at the end of that last battle. Where does that put us in points? Because
I think it might put us at 2-2. I think we might maybe be going into the final battle here. I could be wrong on that. I was very foolish and do not have the scores on screen, like an absolute moron. But I think that this may be the final battle we're going into to take out all the marbles in the end. So we'll just have to wait and see who decides to do what after the absolute roller coaster that we've seen so far. Oh dear.
I fell off the roller coaster. Like at that last battle, the safety measures didn't work. All right, into Sableye and Skarmory. Sableye ramping up a ton of energy. Looks like trying to make a catch, doesn't do it, switches into the Registeel. So with that failed catch, it looks like we're going to see a Brave Bird and then a dip into the Mew.
Interesting. Citizen Array, so didn't bring any sort of hard answer, which would have been Scrafty, I guess, to the Registeel. Because electing to throw that Brave Bird energy on Registeel, where it could hit a lot harder somewhere else, is an interesting play. but just wants to make sure that he retains Switch, versus if you just swap in Mew without chipping, you might put yourself in a situation where it becomes hard to retain Switch advantage.
All right, letting that clock wear out before we see that Sableye come back in. Mew took that big defense drop from the wild charge. Sableye has a ton of energy, but Wigglytuff is gonna run right through it. Even with that, the return goes through and safely gets the Sableye out of there.
Oh man, and Superman is looking good here. I don't think Citizen Erased was expecting double steal and Empoleon in back, and that's why he was so confident that if he just took Switch, he'd be totally fine. Skarmory would roam free once the Registeel was gone, but he was wrong. Skarmory met by the Steel Penguin, and it's in trouble.
All right, so here's that Wigglytuff in the back, and that Wigglytuff I don't think is going to be able to work through. Nope. Just conceded, I think. Just knew it wasn't going to work out.
And it looks like I actually might have been a liar, and we're now at 2-2.
Now we're at 2-2. Yeah, Citizen Erased had the 2-1 lead. Superman ties it up 2-2, and Empoleon making an appearance. It's kind of funny when we look at his team, because it's like Pokemon that are super oppressive with their fast move damage, like Machamp and Wigglytuff, and then Pokemon that are only like charge move damage with Registeel and Cresselia. So you got like the complete opposite types of Pokemon, but Superman able to utilize them to tie this thing up, and here we go.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that balance. These are very well-balanced teams, and these are very well-balanced match. As it shows, we're at 2-2 right now. So it looks like Mew is farming up a ton of damage, and it looks like Mew is going to fire off first. We see a shield for the Surf. I'm expecting maybe a Wild Charge to come in next. Taking a look for the Hydro Cannon, we do get a shield. So let's see if we're... looks like a failed catch, and here comes Skarmory to meet the Wigglytuff. This Wigglytuff is going to have a real rough time right now.
Yeah, not what the Wigglytuff wants to see. Should be able to get to an Ice Beam here, which is nice to do some chip damage. So if you're Superman, at least your Wigglytuff's putting up a fight here, gets the Skarmory quite low. And Skarmory actually has to dump energy, which is about as much as you could ask for if you're Superman.
All right, and then I think we're probably going to see the Empoleon. We haven't seen the Sableye yet. I don't know if it's worth bringing that out quite yet. So here, the Empoleon gets a little bit more damage. So here comes the Mew again. Looks like we are going to see a shield. I'm anticipating a Wild Charge. And then are we going to see a swap out? We do into the Scrafty.
Scrafty's not going to appreciate a Drill Peck. Oh, it puts it low. And man, this is such a weird situation, right? Because if you're the Scrafty, you know a foul play is double resisted, but do you just shield it anyway? Where do you use your shield here if you're Citizen Erased? Do you save it for the Mew? I'm not sure entirely, to be honest.
Nope,
Shields
looks like
play.
Burned it here, and almost got to another foul play, but here comes the Scrafty. It got to play first. And then here comes that Empoleon again.
Not sure if it's going to get there. Oh,
Not
just
quite.
barely. Oh
And
my gosh.
Wins it with just one fast move. So again, showing that balance, showing that these are two incredibly skilled battlers, and so many of these matches came down to just a hair.
Such a close game. Came down to, like you said, essentially one fast move, and Citizen Erased able to narrowly get the victory in a game 5. Man, about as close as a best of 5 matchup could possibly get.
I'll tell you what, I'm a Superman fanboy now. After watching some of those games, these are just two absolutely bonkers battlers. And that was only the semi-finals. I mean, both of them are going through to God tier, as I said before. So they've both come away with an extra chip on their shoulder, but there can only be one champion. And it's going to be Citizen Erased, who was the number 2 seed, actually. So I think it's actually we're going to see the top 2 players from the Azalea leaderboards. Tony Jr. 3850 taking on Citizen Erased, whoever wins this best of 5 is going to become the Azalea Town champion. So let's take a look at the final teams. Tony's is a team that we have not seen yet, and there it is. We've got some new players entering the field, but also some familiar players, and there's that one Pokemon that's shared in that Scrafty. So Scrafty certainly did a lot of work in those last ones. So now it's anyone's game, right? Scrafty's on both sides. There's no one OP team. So I mean, Rise, what do you what's immediately jumping out to you about these teams?
Talonflame. Talonflame looks awfully scary for Citizen Erase teams. A popular way to utilize Talonflame, because it has that flame charge that will vamp up your attack, is to save it in back and save shields for it. And there really is no hard answer from Citizen Erased, so he's going to have to tag team that Talonflame. Nidoqueen, with its fast move damage, can put up a fight. Mew, with access to Surf and Wild Charge, of course, certainly can put up a fight against Talon and get shields. But if Citizen Erased isn't careful, the Talonflame could really wreak havoc against his team.
Yeah, the Talonflame was certainly something that stood out to me too. Also seeing the Pelipper for the first time today. I know Pelipper got a little bit hurt with that Weather Ball debuff, but is still just an incredibly spammy Pokemon and has some solid matchups here as well. So definitely could leverage a double fire strategy, is certainly a possibility here for Tony Jr.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Pelipper looks pretty safe as well. Even the Unovan Stunfisk looks pretty good. Hard checks the Skarmory, and then is pretty neutral across the board for all the other matchups. So, but Double Flyer certainly seems like a way to go for Tony.
All right, but there's only one way to find out if Tony took our advice long after the battles were fought.
Bada bing, bada boom. There is one flyer. Only one more to see. Well, there's two on the screen, but...
Oh, okay.
All right, and you love to see that shiny. So saving that Talonflame for later, knowing that it has a really positive matchup, hiding it in the back, and here comes the A-Tails up against the Dugong. So we've got a lot of ice. It looks like Wisconsin out on that field, Rise.
Yeah, awfully cold. Cold temperatures, wind chill below 0. And this is an interesting counter swap, because your Powder Snows are dealing double resisted, but you know that the Dugong doesn't really have access to any moves that are super threatening to you. But it looks like the Dugong's holding its own. So if it shields here, oh, it doesn't shield. Oh man, and
those
now
Powder Snows are doing nothing.
Oh my gosh, oh, is he still gonna? No, he loses Switch. But I actually don't mind this play from Tony, because he has 2 answers for that Skarmory. So the opponent doesn't bring in the Skarmory, and that's exactly what Tony wanted, because now he has the Stunfisk back for the Skarmory. Really, I think it was intentional to almost lose Switch there. Really smart play by Tony, and I think he's in a pretty commanding position here.
Right, and as you mentioned, Talonflame with shields is a force to be reckoned with, but Nidoqueen has a lot of fast move pressure, using those Poison Fangs to continuously debuff. Here comes the Skarmory into to soak this Flame Charge. Are we going to see a switch? And it looks like we are. So Stunfisk going to come out against the Nidoqueen. No shields left on the Stunfisk, but I don't think it's super worried here.
Yeah, the Stunfisk shouldn't get one shot by an Earth Power, so I think the Nidoqueen is in a pretty good position. The Tony Jr. is in a pretty good position, because he can't really even shield this, because the Talonflame has a move loaded, but you have to shield at the same time. And the only potential win con is if he has double moves here, but I don't think he does. Oh, it lived it!
Even lived on 1. I don't even see that 1 HP on the bar. I think that's a ghost. I think that is the ghost of Stunfisk, was determined to win that matchup. So game 1 goes to Tony Jr. What a play. Whew.
Yeah, what a nice game from Tony. I really liked that play in the secondary matchup, where he let the Ninetales lose essentially, to lure out what was in back, and then he could go from there. and got his Stunfisk aligned with the Skarmory. So nice plays from Tony. Only one game though, and like Steve was saying, in these best of fives, you got a little more room for error. Lose game one, still a lot of games to go.
All right, looks like Alolan Ninetales up against the Nidoqueen. This is an interesting matchup because both battlers are doing super effective damage. Ice onto ground and poison onto fairy. So this ends up being a fairly close battle, but these debuffs from the Poison Fangs are really going to start adding up.
Mm-hmm. And the Ninetales gets to 2 moves, 1 fast move before the Nidoqueen gets to 2 moves. So we might see a swap out here. No, we're not.
Oh, looks like we are just going to let this Nidoqueen go down. It did a bunch of really good work. So we can see the Pancake and the Talonflame in the back. Looks like Talonflame's going to try to have an opportunity to ramp up, get a ton of flame charges in, I think is the plan here.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot of energy. Oh, Nido gets off another Poison Phase. That's going to force a shield. But now we might see the full farm. No, going to preserve the energy and swap out. Interesting play, because now you're switch locked here, and although you have access to the discharge, which is going to chip, Dugong's quite tanky, and you're also allowing the opponent to switch in what they want. And I don't know, I feel like the Talonflame, unless it can one-shot something in back, this is going to be tough for Tony to win.
Right, and especially those Icy Wind debuffs have really done a number on the Stunfisk already. So here comes that next discharge. Looks like we have the Dugong knocked out, and here comes the Skarm.
Man. Oh, tried to catch, but instead transferred the Incinerate, and now Talon's going to get off 2 flame charges. And this, oh my gosh.
No.
Oh man, Citizen erased. Whew, he was erased that time.
Definitely, that was an unfortunate battle for Citizens Erased. That it really is a risk every time you have one of those catches, because if you fail it, you're giving your opponent just that little bit of extra energy that they need. So 2-0 currently in favor for Tony Jr. Tony only needs to win one more battle to claim the championship.
Yeah, I think Citizen Erased tried to make it more complicated than it needed to be there. I'm not sure if the Skarmory would have gotten to that Sky Attack before 2 flame charges if he hadn't transferred the Incinerate, but I think that was the play. Obviously, hindsight's 20/20 for us casting.
Definitely. So seeing Ferrothorn for the first time draws out the Nidoqueen, but it looks like Ferrothorn's willing to kind of stay to play for a little while. Ferrothorn having a pretty positive matchup here as well. Neutral Power Whip doing a ton of damage before flipping into the Stunfisk.
Etching in Earth Power though, so that's gonna hurt. But I guess feels like Stunfisk might not be as useful as the Ferrothorn, so sometimes you see that type of play, and Stunfisk still able to retain Switch. In comes Mew, and because we know the Mew has Surf Wild Charge, the Ferrothorn really isn't threatened at all by it. So yeah, Ferro could be great, and we still see that Talonflame lurking with all shields still up in this game.
All right, so letting the Mew go down, we still have 2 shields on both sides of the battlefield, letting the clock run down before bringing in Ferrothorn. And just like you said, Ferrothorn does not have to worry about the charge moves coming in. Wild Charge does next to nothing. And then bringing in Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff, that is a tough order for a Charmer to go up against a Steel type. And here comes that Talonflame.
Yeah, poor Citizen Erase. This one's all but over, as the Talonflame is just going to start vamping up here, and Wiggly's only going to be able to get to 1 move at most. Yeah, just an easy shield. Gonna take it out, and these Incinerates are going to do quite a bit of damage, so Tony Jr. is playing it safe, throwing his moves, perhaps saving, Citizen Erase knew it was over, so concedes, doesn't bother shielding. And Tony Jr., that's pretty crazy because Citizen Erased had looked very dominant with his play up until this point, and Tony Jr., the number 1 seed, right, Steve? Get the buy forward. He's proving why he was the number 1 seed. and a dominant victory there.
Yeah, and I mean, really, look, it was a very strong plays. I think he definitely had a pretty strong team as well. And maybe
Sure.
it's one of those cases where this is a meta that they've never really prepared for. This is like the first time they were using the Horizon Cup for this tournament. Tony Jr. didn't go into this as practice as Citizen Erase. You know, Citizen Erase had to fight through the real D-Long, had to fight through Superman to get to these finals, but Tony just happened to have the matchup power and had the skill to identify what he needed to do. And I think Talonflame is probably deserves a bit of an MVP medal for Tony Jr.'s team, because it definitely carried a lot of work up against Citizen Erased. But with that, we do indeed have the Azalea Town champion again, going to be going to the God tier alongside Citizen Erased, alongside Superman 23. So really just an absolutely huge amount of incredible battlers, and I'm really excited to see what they do next. I mean, you know, this isn't going to be the end. There's going to be a God tier season. There's going to be another finals after that. So there's plenty to come from all of these battles. And I think, look, I'm not sure if any of us have truly recovered from that one game, the one fabled game from a little bit earlier. But we're only at the halfway point. So we still have one full set of finals to take a look at. So we've now got an Azalea champion. We've got to crown a town champion to join them at the Cherrygrove. The Cherrygrove town has got another cast of battlers, another champion to crown. So let's take a look at the bracket over there. And here we go, the Cherrygrove bracket. We've got Trogdor 8989 as that number one seed. We'll just have to wait and see whether we get another number one seed going through to the championship. And then Giratina Belcher as the number two. Cytochrome T number three. JD Beats 3 number four. Dylan 9497 as number five, and You've 87 as number six. So again, another sort of swarm of good battlers here. Definitely a lot of names that I am recognizing. And I know Rise, you've got a bit of a connection here as well. So I think we'll jump into that first battle to get the teams up and take a look at what we're sort of dealing with here.
Yeah, I've played Dylan quite a few times. He's an excellent battler. I've played him in GBL, also with Gym Breakers for Team USA. I've played him. He's the captain of Team Canada, so we've matched up a few times there, and it's always interesting battles. I know he likes his shadows, as he's showcasing there with Shadow Machamp and Shadow Nidoqueen. And one thing I noticed about Dylan is he plays very aggressive. Some players are more not risk takers. They're more safe, is the word I was looking for, with their play style. But Dylan tends to bait in big time situations, tends to call baits in big time situations. So that's something I've noticed in his play style, and we'll see if we see that here.
Something I noticed right off the bat, the same kind of pattern Steve's been picking up on. What do these battlers have in common? And today it's Shadow Nidoqueen as well as Skarmory. A couple things I'm picking up on. Dylan has a double flyer strategy, kind of ready to go. Empoleon being a fog flyer. It has a flying type move, but it is not a flying type Pokemon. So lots of flying pressure there from Dylan. And I'm also, you gotta point out the Ariados. It's not a new Pokemon. It's been around for a long time. It's from Johto, but it's very new in its like viability in battle. So that's something I am very interested to see if You've 87 is going to use.
Yeah, Ariados, it's pretty good since it's gotten Poison Sting, Lunge. You can run Cross Poison as sort of more of a bait move, or Mega Horn is a hard hitting move. And then also the Shadow Poliwrath. Shadow Poliwrath, that's a pretty spicy pick. And it actually looks like it has quite a bit of play. Assuming it's running Ice Punch, it's going to be able to threaten the Nidoqueen, the Shiftry, the Altaria, and perhaps Scald, perhaps Dynamic Punch. We'll have to see. But Poliwrath, surprisingly, looks like it could have quite a bit of play as well.
Yeah, I think
I'm excited.
I think it's kind of interesting that, in the Sylph Arena, sometimes there's sort of talks about how different places in the world have different sort of metas. We've jumped from one town to another, and we're seeing like a whole bunch of new Pokemon here that we have not seen at all in the Azalea region. The Shiftry, the Ariados, the Shadow Poliwrath, Obstagoons popping up, Altaria. It's all a bunch of new things that we can kind of take a look at. So I think we're set up for a whole bunch of new battles, new matchups. So let's jump right into it and take a look at what these two are going to be bringing. Again, going from Dylan's perspective, objective, but that does not necessarily mean that Dylan is the winner. It is just a random dice roll, see what ends up popping out. So let's jump into it.
All right, it looks like we have a shiny Empoleon. We all know that shinies do more damage. Big wink right there. And then Empoleon taking on all of that. Look at how much waterfall damage has been done already. Shadows just having that little bit of a defense drop makes a difference. And a catch to boot.
Dylan! Oh, there was a bait with Poison Fang. Oh my gosh, that would have been just savagery from Dylan. Yeah, so the fact that the opponent stayed in that bad matchup, Empoleon versus Shadow Nidoqueen, kind of hinted that they're double weak to the Empoleon, so that we see it here with the Skarmory. But Dylan able to preserve so much health on the Empoleon after dealing all that damage. Off the bat, seems like he's in a pretty good position to start.
And what did I say earlier about all those flyers? Dylan has brought all 3 of those Pokemon. I see Altaria, I see Skarmory, and I see the fake flyer that is Empoleon. So lots of birds out on the battlefield today.
Yeah, and down a shield, a lot of work to do for Poliwrath. We'll probably you know what? Not gonna bother throwing. And if you're watching this wondering what on earth are they doing, you've realized that this match was over. I see Steve nodding along. Doesn't want to reveal the Poliwrath moveset just yet. This is a lost cause. By keeping it a secret, who knows? Maybe he's running something crazy like Hydro Pump, and keeping it a secret potentially for the later games in this series.
Yep, you definitely, if you any hidden information, and that is especially tough in these best of 5 battles, you have to keep those secrets a little bit longer. You lay your cards down too early, and your opponent can really take advantage. So definitely, I would say that was a very good call by Uve87 to hide that information for later in the match. All right, taking a look, it looks like we have Skarmory on Swampert to start us off, Rise.
Yeah, Swampert actually has a favorable matchup here, just because it outpaces Skarmory quite significantly. So if you time your moves correctly, Swampert can actually get to 3 Hydro Cannons before Skarmory even gets to 2 Sky Attacks. So yeah, not the best matchup for Skarm, but of course it's going to be able to deal some heavy hitting neutral damage. And we saw Dylan draw a shield, and he seems willing to just let this Skarmory go. Wants to take that shield advantage.
I guess, and definitely maintains it. So we have the Empoleon. Looks like we are going to burn our first shield over on this side. Swampert gets to another move. I think this is only a Hydro Cannon. Yep, Hydro Cannon comes through, takes Empoleon under half health, but the Empoleon very easily able to waterfall it down. And here comes the Goon.
Gosh, nearly got countered down, but is going to be able to save a Hydro for later. And now we have Altaria versus Skarmory, which is not good by any means for the Altaria, but it's not as bad as you'd think. Despite only dealing resisted damage, Dragon Breath is so oppressive, and that this Altaria is going to be able to put up a fight, but it's definitely looking like a favorable position for Yuv.
Right, like if you could hold out, keep the Altaria alive long enough to switch the Empoleon back in, perhaps. But I don't know if the Altaria can hold on. That switch timer's still not quite up.
Oh man, if Dylan can double Sky Attack here, and then Hydro... Oh, the catch! Oh, but I don't think that matters, because I'm pretty sure the Empoleon has the Hydro banked.
We're about to find out.
Oh my goodness. Just beautiful energy management from Dylan. I certainly would not have been able to win that game, because when I saw the Obsidian come in, I would have Hydro dipped and probably not have been able to save that residual energy. And Dylan, just cool as a cucumber, was able to double up on Hydros, save the Hydro for later, and just, oh man, that individual game was a masterclass from Dylan. That was really impressive.
Very, very well played. And that brings Dylan 9497 up 2 battles to 0 against you. Dylan only needs 1 more battle to be able to win this first matchup for this town's championship battles. All right, looks like we've got Altaria into Nidoqueen. Typically is not very favored by the Altaria because those Poison Fangs, Poison Jabs just take their toll on the fluffy cotton dragon bird.
Yeah, they just add up so quickly, and Altaria gets outpaced. Nidoqueen will get to 3 Poison Fangs in the same time, so Dylan recognizes that. Aggressive swaps, but this is not where the Empoleon wants to be this time against the Obstagoon. And the Obstagoon, if you're Yuv, you're also avoiding that Shadow Machamp that's lurking in back. So we'll see how this one plays out. Cross Chop, gonna do some nice damage, and the Obstagoon gonna go for a full farm down and gets it.
All right, so it looks like Dylan waiting out the clock a little bit, brings in the Altaria, and Obstagoon able to launch a charge move. Looks like it is a Night Slash. No boost and not able to take out the Altaria. Here comes the Nidoqueen back in again. Are we going to see a shield? We are. So saving the Altaria, and then that Machamp still lurking in the background.
Force the shield since the Machamp doesn't want to see this Nidoqueen. Dylan's just hoping they let it go. They do let it go. And we've got Swampert versus Machamp. This is going to be awfully close because the Swampert does outpace here. But it's going to come down to whether the Hydro Cannon KOs or not. Oh my goodness.
I know this is going to be really close. Those counters are adding up really, really quickly. So here comes that double Hydro Cannon. Is it going to KO the Shadow Machamp? Is it enough? It is, and there goes the Altaria as well.
Wow, you staying alive. Yeah, Swampert will get to the Hydro Cannon in 9 moves, and the double Hydro Cannon, I should say, and then Machamp 10 moves for double Cross Chop. So the Swampert just barely gets there first. You recognized that, went for double, and was able to barely do enough damage to get the win. And then the Mudshot down on the Altaria's got to feel bad for Dylan, but after going down 0-2, nice perseverance to make the adjustments and get a Game 3 win.
Yeah, and that's definitely a sign of a really good battle, or how to make those adjustments later on in the matchup. So it looks like we have Skarmory onto Swampert. That Skarmory is very pretty, very shiny, but those Hydro Cannons are going to be doing a number on it. So let's see, are we going to get to a Brave Bird and dip? Swampert throwing just before Skarmory gets to that Brave Bird, taking it down to half of its health. And here comes that Brave Bird going straight for it. No Sky Attack bait, and no shield from the Swampert. And that Swampert it was here and it was suddenly gone. So here comes that Obstagoon landing the Night Slash and the boost.
Boostagoon.
Oh dear.
You know,
Things
this boost could be the saving grace for you, because without the Goon, the Empoleon roams pretty free and back. But if this Goon can somehow power its way through this Altaria, this could totally change the outcome of the match. And Dylan's got to be like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I was in such a good position, and he gets the boost. But oh my gosh, you kind of have to shield if you're Dylan. Yeah, have to shield the Night Slash. Gonna go for the
trying to farm it down and switches it out. So that Obstagoon, I think, has some energy in the back, probably has a move banked. So could use it as a third shield, could bring it in for a sneak attack at the end. And here comes the Ariados. I am very excited to see it in play.
Up a shield, obviously a really bad matchup for Ariados, but up a shield, can you get to 3 lunges? It doesn't look like even 3 lunges would KO. So Dylan just builds up to back here, gets the shield, going for Hydro Cannon rather than Drill Peck. I don't think it really matters because they would both KO, and able to waterfall down. So once again, nice job by Dylan, and I think that seals the deal. 3-1 in favor of Dylan.
Not even the Boostagoon could save you. Very, very good games to Dylan, taking that one 3-1.
Yeah, does progress him on to the round 2, taking on the number 3 seed in Cherrygrove, Giratina Belcher, which is an absolutely fantastic name. But yeah, both Dylan and you've definitely, I mean, you fought back really well, right? Like the chance was there. Unfortunately, it just didn't end up working out in the end. If it wasn't an Ariados in the back, if it was something else, it may have gone a lot better for him. But unfortunately, in Pokemon Go, that does sometimes happen, that you just don't have the right Pokemon in the back, which can be put down to luck, to team reading. It's all a skill in this game, but still both incredible battlers. So we'll jump into this next game with actually we're going to jump over to the other side. We're going to be taking a look at Cytochrome T take on JD Beats before we hop back over to the Dylan matchup. So let's take a look at the teams now. We've got that Cytochrome coming in with some more new Pokemon. They do not stop coming through, and actually they've broken the trend. There's no duplicates. Didn't they get the memo?
Would you look at that?
But definitely some very new Pokemon, some very unexpected Pokemon. Is that a Caracosta?
Or as Hero Vange would once say it, Caracosta.
There it is.
I can't roll my R's, but Caracosta, I didn't expect to see one of these. Cytochrome, he's known for rocking some spice. He's a regular on the GBL leaderboards, a really strong battler. And a couple of spice picks. Shadow Granbull recently got that shadow access not too long ago. And it already was an oppressive fast move damage with Charm, and that shadow just makes it even more oppressive. It will have quite a few checks, though. So I'm not sure Cytochrome bothers bringing the Shadow Granbull with Registeel, Talonflame, Venusaur all being bad matchups for it, and then Wigglytuff, Swampert, Mew, like those are all pretty neutral matchups. So I'm not sure how much play the Shadow Charmer has. I'd be impressed if Cytochrome made it work. But yeah, I think Sableye looks pretty good. Really only has Nidoqueen as well, right? Yeah, for sure. Really just has the Swampert to worry about. And then Sableye really only the Wigglytuff to worry about. So he's got a couple of crazy spice picks that he might showcase, but also some strong meta picks as well.
Yeah, and JD Beats definitely running a much more meta team. Not a ton of spice there. We do see the Talonflame, which would definitely melt the Ferrothorn if it comes in contact with it. So that might be a matchup that JD Beats is looking for. Talonflame would also have a very dominant matchup against the Skarmory as well. So I'm very interested to see, is it going to be the more meta picks that come out, or are we going to see a little bit more spice?
The famous phrase, only one way to find out, and that is better being better jumping into it.
All right, we've got two steals right off the bat. Ferrothorn versus Registeel, and I believe we are seeing Cytochrome's perspective. Yes, we are. Okay.
Yeah, not where the Ferrothorn wants to be, because this non-stab Thunder's not even going to do half, and a Focus Blast nearly one-shots. was trying to catch the Focus Blast on the Sableye, but unsuccessful. Oh my god, just sacking the Ferrothorn, I guess. Gonna bank the move and switch. Okay.
I gotta bring my eyebrows down a little bit after banking that move with just 1 HP on that Ferrothorn. Yeah. Here comes that Talonflame with just that really intense Incinerate damage, letting that return go through.
What a
Battlers, you have shields. You have shields.
Going straight for the return with 2 shields up. That was crazy. And now has taken back switch advantage. And but this is not looking good anyway.
I love you've got the designed the tattooed Venusaur looks particularly frightening here, and the Caracosta does not want to see it. It cannot handle a move here. So it looks like we are going to see a quick body slam, but Venusaur just in a very dominant position here.
Okay. Gonna combo play here and get off the power whip, but I think Cytochrome, he's trying to pull some crazy shenanigans. It's not gonna work. Registeel was still too healthy anyway, and that was a really entertaining game. Landing that return on the Talon with all shields still in play, but unfortunately the crazy plays weren't enough with Venu versus the Caracosta in back.
Did you guys see there was a best buddy ribbon on that Caracosta?
No, I didn't notice.
That's amazing. Why wouldn't you best buddy a Caracosta?
Dedication. Oh my goodness.
That makes me happy. My cheeks hurt from smiling a little bit. That was such a fun battle to watch. I hope that the rest moving forward here. So JDB takes that 1-0. So moving on, we see that clone Venusaur come out again. Such a beautiful design. But the Sableye coming through is going to outpace, throws the move first.
Yeah, pretty neutral matchup here. Gets a shield right away. The Frenzy Plants are going to hurt more than the foul play, so Sableye generally has to sneak in a move to win this matchup, and we don't even see it get to the second. I think Venusaur sneaking in a Vine Whip caused that to happen, so really unfortunate for Cytochrome.
But look at that shiny Nidoqueen, allowing it to eat a Frenzy Plant. Interesting move, but is going to shield to save it before, I think, throwing that Poison Fang, getting more energy, knowing that I was going to say, are we going for a farm down? We are not. So knowing that Venusaur was far away from another Frenzy Plant, getting a bunch more energy, is almost at another move. Are we going to see the Nidoqueen able to throw it, though?
Oof. We see a blind Poison Fang here, but it's going to be absorbed by the Reggie, and I just don't think this Caracosta, this rock turtle, has a chance here, because the Focus Blast almost certainly one-shots, and Cytochrome realizes it, and poor turtle, bye. Just not the showing Cytochrome wanted so far. I feel like he's trying really hard to make Caracosta work and line it up correctly, but just hasn't been able to.
No, because it could, if you get it lined up right, it could do some really nice work, but you're right, it just hasn't been able to do that successfully. So in this game 3, JD Beats only needs one more game to tie this series up. So we are going to have to see, are we going to see the Caracosta put on the bench? Maybe see something else come out to play, perhaps the Shadow Granbull. We got to see that Nidoqueen put in a little bit of work. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Game 3, Talon in the lead. Is the Caracosta there? It's not. Went away from it. The one time when the opponent was JD's probably like, yeah, there's no way he's bringing it a third time, so I'm going to lead Talonflame this time. And but this is not a bad matchup by any means for Nidoqueen with its fast move damage.
Yeah, just putting a ton of pressure on this Talonflame already. It is ramped up, but then switches out. And like you mentioned, an Earth Power isn't enough to take out a Registeel. So I'm going to shield it, but wouldn't even be enough to KO. Looks like we're going to switch in, save the Nidoqueen for later, and try to leverage this Sableye a little bit.
Yeah, and Registeel just so quick to these Flash Cannons. Lock on the highest energy generation move in the game. And the Sableye, it's going to have to shield if it wants to stick around. So yeah, we do see the shield from Sableye, because if you let this go, that the Reggie becomes pretty difficult to take out. So this foul play here, pretty useful for Cytochrome. And we actually see the last shield drawn. Interesting.
All right, so maybe some battlers learning from previous mistakes, expending their shields early, because you can't bring them into the next game. So here comes that clone Venusaur into the Ferrothorn.
And I think this is a mistake from JD Beats. He didn't want to get farmed down, but now he gives up Switch, whereas he could have had the Talonflame on the Ferrothorn. Now Talonflame is going to be against the Nido, and this is a pretty neutral matchup here. Pharaoh versus Venu, where they're both just resisting each other's moves.
Right, so this battle going to go on for a little bit longer. Ferrothorn just needs to get to one more move before it's able to knock out the Venusaur. I think Venusaur needs... Oh, it looks like tries to make a catch, doesn't quite get there. Talonflame gets to the Flame Charge and is able to start ramping up again.
I think you gotta commit to the farm here. Okay, and now you're just watching that top left corner. What's gonna come in? And it's the Venu. And you know, I think
the move first.
It had a move, yeah. I think Venu wins CMP anyway against Nidoqueen, so I don't think it would have mattered if Cytochrome was throwing the move there. And you know, Steve, that's a bit of an upset to me, but put some respect on JD Beats' name. I'm not familiar with him as a battler, but taking down Cytochrome, who's a consistent leaderboarder, and doing it in 3-0 fashion.
I'll tell you what.
Very well played.
There's a very real possibility that JD Beats paid off Cytochrome to just keep using Caracosta. Just come on, man. How cool it would be if you won with Caracosta, huh? Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately,
wait, there wasn't a style points multiplier, so Caracosta wins weren't worth 2.
Even so, it would still be 3-0 at the end of the day. So we could have doubled any Caracosta player points, but either way, unfortunately does get beaten out by JD Beats. Actually, as we said before, I don't think we actually have a graphic that has the individual win. We'll just get the full next round results. But yeah, really well played from JD Beats, and definitely one of the most fun games of the show so far with that very first battle. So many crazy plays, but we'll just have to see if JD Beats can keep that going on into the next round, up against the winner of this round, going back over to Dylan, going up against Giratina Belcher. We'll bring the teams up right now. Take a look at what we've got here. Giratina's a new team and a bunch of new Pokemon as well. I'm actually really glad that, like, I know it's a new meta, so it's not like a sort of Silpharina meta where there's been given time for a team to solidify into these are the 6 you should use. Maybe flip these 2 around. They've kind of gone at a unique pattern. They've been able to bring in the Pokemon they enjoy using, and I think I'm really glad we're seeing this variety here. But taking a look at these new picks, the Vigoroth, and actually we have seen a Whiscash before, so the Vigoroth being the major big one. Do you see Vigoroth having some play up against Dylan's team?
Definitely, Vigoroth that is a staple Pokemon in the Great League, in both the Silpharina and Go Battle League, for a reason. Those counters are going to be coming in really heavy on the Shiftry, on the Empoleon. Does a lot of damage to the Skarmory as well. So I could see Vigoroth having a bit of play here.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely good against the Shiftry and the Empoleon, and surprisingly, Vigoroth can actually beat Skarmory if you take it to the 2 shield, and the Altaria matchup isn't that bad at all, especially if you get a head start on energy. Just has a hard check with that Nidoqueen, which it doesn't want to see. And the Machamp, of course, it would be tough for the Vigoroth, but has two really good matchups, 2 pretty neutral matchups, and only 2 checks. I think the Registeel for Giratina Belcher looks pretty good. Really just has the Shadow Machamp to look out for as a hard counter. Everything else has pretty solid play against. And then the Mew, if it's running Surf Wild Charge, has play pretty much everywhere except for the Shiftry. So yeah, Mew and Regicore, I think, looks pretty solid for Giratina Belcher.
That's exactly what I was looking at as well. Giratina Belcher definitely has a very, very solid core. I'm not over the name. I think that is the greatest, like one of the best Pokemon gamer tags that I have seen in a very long time. But I would definitely agree. Mew Registeel looks really, really good here.
Yeah, well, Giratina Belcher gets the style points for name points.
Yeah, if I'm Giratina Belcher, I'm just going Mew, Reggie, Flyer, and mixing up the order. That's pretty much my strat. But we'll see what ends up happening.
Ooh, and it's a shiny Mewtwo. Look at that. All right, same moveset that we've seen. It looks like we've got that Wild Charge and the Surf. Pretty standard moveset on the Mew. Going straight for that Wild Charge. Going to get in a ton of neutral damage before swapping out into the Skarmory. Skarmory does pretty well here, especially now that Altaria is at a disadvantage with its health.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, Dylan swapping the Machamp into the Skarmory. Gonna have to expend shields, at least 1 shield if you're Dylan, but lands the cross chop, and a nice play by Dylan. He chips this. Oh, lets it go. Okay, sacks the Machamp.
All right, so now we're at two Pokemon on each player's team, 2 shields still in play. Looks like we have the Altaria onto the Registeel. So Registeel doesn't have to worry about a single thing that Altaria is going to throw. So is going to be able to get a ton of energy and just kind of let these flash cannons fly. Looks like we're sacking the Altaria, and it is Shadow Nidoqueen versus the world, Rise.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Nidoqueen This just becomes a bait game, really. Lands the flash cannon, still not shielding. Jeez Louise. And now fast moves start to become an issue. I think at this point, you just let Reggie go. Okay, lands the Earth Power. Still no shields have been used, but yeah, the Mew's still so healthy that he knew even if he did get Earth Powered, he should be able to Shadow Claw down here. And no shields were harmed from Dylan in the making of this battle.
Oh dear, going down with 2 shields is definitely a kick to the pride. So GG to both players, but Giratina Belcher taking that first win, and with that addition of the style points for the name.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he didn't shield the Machamp on that Sky Attack, because even if you go down a shield, like Machamp can put in work against Mew, because Mew's pretty glassy, and those counters and even a Cross Chop or a Rock Slide can still chunk away. So I think that was the mistake from Dylan, not shielding the Machamp.
All right, taking a look. Skarmory on Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen getting out of there really quickly, saving it for later. And here we have the Skarmory with Altaria. So Skarmory looks like it's going to stay to play for a little while yet, because this is, again, a pretty favorable matchup for the Skarmory. Altaria can get a lot of very big damage done with that Dragon Breath. But yeah, looks like Skarmory's just going to hang tight in here, Rise.
Yeah, we'll see if Dylan he does shield this time. First time he's used the shield in this match, but he's going to get off the Sky Attack here as well, so he could potentially take Switch. But Giratina Belcher, he's going to shield to get off his Sky Attack. But from people that have been doing GBL since the first season, you know that Altaria wins this matchup in the 2 shield. So Dylan's actually able to take back Switch now, which could prove pretty vital.
All right, taking a look. Looks like we are going to let the Sky Attack come through, and Mew's looking to farm down. Doesn't get the chance. Nidoqueen comes in, switches in, so Altaria is still back there, but just at very low health. Lands the Surf because there are no shields left in play, and Whiscash is going to be able to come in and get a ton of work done on this Nidoqueen. Ooh. Poison Fang coming through to have that defense drop. So would an Earth Power coming in next do anything? It's another Poison Fang. So yeah, still holding on to that last shield.
I don't think baiting was the play there for Dylan. Oh man, shields are down, so I'm not sure why this Whiscash is mud bombing. Perhaps didn't want to take the risk of this happening of a catch, so that's why he mud bombed. But still has the shield. Should still be fine. Yeah, should still be fine. Mew gets to the Surf and we'll take out the Machamp. Yeah, I think you could tell Giratina Belcher's kind of tense, because I think what his thought process there was, instead of just one-shotting the Machamp with Blizzard, you didn't want to take the risk of the Altaria catching the Blizzard, so you just go straight Mud Bomb to play it safe. And that's what I think that's what he was thinking there.
All right, but again, very, very well played. So Giratina Belcher taking 2 wins to 0 for Dylan. So Dylan's got to win something here. Next win for Giratina Belcher moves them along in this series here.
Yeah, if you're Dylan, I think you got to go a Shadow Machamp strat. You got to save shields for Champ in the back. Got to get alignment with it.
All right, Battle of the Birds. We've got Altaria versus Altaria, and it looks like Giratina Belcher going for that double flyer strategy, Altaria and Skarmory, with that shiny Mew as well. So let's see how that strategy plays out. Looks like Dylan gets to the sky, is able to throw the Sky Attack first, and we are going for a Moonblast.
Great for the Moonblast. Lands it! Oh my gosh! The dragon with the fairy move on another dragon, and takes it out. I have to imagine Dylan shields this. Okay, thank you, Dylan. And counters down all the way, so this energy is going to be threatening for these back 2 Pokemon. Giratina Belcher brought his 3 best answers for the Machamp all together, but a Rock Slide would still hurt here.
Yeah, takes it down under half health, so switches out for the Skarmory, hoping to farm down here. But Machamp still gets another Rock Slide through, taking Skarmory almost down to half health, and here comes a Shift Tree.
Oh Oh man, Shiftry making an appearance. Gets to the move first. Opponent shields. Shiftry has to shield this, otherwise it'll go bye-bye. But this Mew in the back, it's gonna... Oh, well, the Shiftry's over farming. Man, Shiftry always has more energy than you think. I'm not sure if it somehow has 2 moves already. Not quite. Oh, but
and it gets there again. I'm telling you, the shinies, it's the shiny damage right there. Sneaks that shiny, those sparkles sneak you in a little bit of extra energy. So Dylan fighting their way back. So we are now 2-1 with Giratina Belcher to Dylan. So Dylan sneaking that match back. And you were correct, brought a ton of counters to that Shadow Machamp, but Dylan's still able to take the battle.
Yeah, brought the Shiftry for the first time, and it put in work in the back. Despite you'd think Flyer versus Grass, right? But the Skarmory had been chipped enough by the Machamp, the Rock Slide, that Foul Play ended up being enough to KO. And then the Shiftry dominant matchup against the Mew, as we know.
All right, we've got 2 steals starting us off here. We've got Registeel versus Skarmory. Skarmory dipping out here and going into Altaria. So it looks like Dylan bringing the double flyer strat this time. And Registeel looks like we are staying in here. Gonna start hitting the Altaria with a few Flash Cannons, and Registeel gets to those really fast.
Yeah, Dylan went double weak to Registeel, so... had a bad matchup with the Skarmory, has to go and do another bad matchup here with Altaria as his safe swap, and is going to shield. And eventually, we see Giratina Belcher switch out, which is interesting. Giving up switch, wants to preserve the Registeel for later. And then we see the swap back into the own Skarmory, which makes me think there could be that Machamp in back, or perhaps the Shiftry again, who knows?
All right, so Skarmory on Skarmory. This looks like we've got Giratina Belcher Skarmory at a little bit lower health. I'm not sure where the energy on these 2 steel birds is at. Dylan Skarmory able to throw a move here, and we get another shield. We're at 1 shield each, and the Registeel comes back in with the switch timer running back out.
I see both players keep switching rather than letting their Pokemon get farmed down. Flash Cannon should be enough from this range. Takes it out. Altaria is going to try and Dragon Breath down. It does. Excuse me. And now I assume you come in with Skarm to absorb the move.
Yeah, so Skarmory can tank this Sky attack. So no need to shield here. And then I think, is Skarmory going to get to that next Sky attack? It does. So I think we're probably going to see this Altaria let go unless we've got something...
Yeah. This is going to come down to Mew versus wants it back, and it's the Shiftry. Oh my god.
No.
Oh my
Shiftry is, I think, already at two charge moves. It charges up so fast. So there's something, yeah.
Landed the foul play. I think Giratina Belcher thought his win con was calling a Leaf Blade bait. Jeez Louise, Dylan, he was probably thinking like, all right, as long as I don't see a Registeel lead, I should be fine. And then his Skarmory Altaria course, he's a Registeel lead. And he somehow is able to dance around, chip away as much as possible, and then called what was in back, and it was the Mew against the Shiftry. So although he got countered in the lead, he countered his opponent in back, and that was enough to flip the game.
Right. I thought with all of that dancing around, I thought we were going to start seeing that timer come up, because that can be a big strategy, making sure you save your Pokemon in the back for that switch timer. And here it is, last battle. We are 2-2, and we start off with 2 Skarmories, and the Vigoroth looks like it is going to make its first appearance in this matchup.
Man, that's so risky. Giratina Belcher to have the courage to bring in Vigoroth for the first time in the deciding game, but could it end up being the deciding factor? We'll see. Sky Attack come through. You don't really want a Brave Bird early on to debuff yourself, unless you plan on just swapping out right away. But yeah, so we see just Sky Attacks being traded back and forth, and another move coming in here, another Sky Attack.
All right, so we're getting pretty close. I think both opponents are just about in one sky attack range, so it looks like we're going to let the sky attack go through, just a couple fast moves away. So both battlers really trying to plan out, like, do they want switch? Are we going to get a simul KO? We do not. Giratina Belcher's lives on just one. We see that shift tree come out. We let the timer go a little bit, and here comes that Vigoroth. Those counters doing a ton of work. Vigoroth can comfortably tank one move, but shielding it just to keep it healthy. And here comes that Registeel. Giratina Belcher looks like they're in a pretty solid position, don't you think, Rise?
I think so. Registeel just is not worrying about any charge moves here. But we see the Dragon Breath damage is slowly adding up, and I don't think this is over quite yet, because if the Altaria can win this matchup by expending both shields, and then the Shift Tree probably will be able to get to at least one Leaf Blade later on, this is going to be close.
All right, so now we're down one shield. Here comes the Shift Tree, trying to get over to the Vigoroth, but the switch clock was not out, so the Shift Tree is able to Leaf Blade the Registeel. Registeel lives on one. Vigoroth having to expend some energy here because Shift Tree was already just about at another move. So here comes the Altaria. Each player still has a shield. Vigoroth already at 2 body slams.
And I think the double body slam should seal the deal here. And yeah, Dylan let it go. He knew it had 2. So, wow, Giratina Belcher, another series that went to 5 games, and Giratina Belcher able to seal the deal in Game 5. Was able to call a lot of favorable leads, and IVs matter, as we saw in that last matchup. The Skarmory beating the other Skarmory with 1 HP.
Yeah, and saving the Vigoroth to the very end, kind of bringing it in as kind of that key, and won the battle in the end. So congratulations, Giratina Belcher, winning that one 3-2 and moving on in this championship series.
Yeah, it's one of those aspects of best of fives where the first few games you were seeing that pretty heavy domination from the Whiscash and the Mew as well. And so Shifty was able to come in as that counter to that. And then the Game 5, Vigoroth coming out as a counter to that as well. So really, really fun to see that sort of dynamic as you go through these best of fives. But we have now got 2 battlers that have qualified here for the God tier. JD3 and Giratina Belcher, both going through to the God tier lobby in the next Go Stadium season. So it is now again time to just start fighting for that championship title. One of these battles will go through to take on the number 1 seed, the winner of the Cherrygrove lobby, to take that championship title. So we'll jump into it. We've seen both of these teams already. We've seen both of these battlers, Giratina Belcher versus JD3. We've got the teams here. We've got that Vigoroth coming through, and we've got the Talonflame coming through as well. I think that this might have been was this the Talonflame that did incredibly well? Is that the Talonflame in the that was the previous? That was Azalea. That we saw that Talonflame just dominate the finals matchup. But in here, there's definitely a lot of interesting matchups. So, I mean, Rise, what's kind of immediately standing out to you, other than the fact that we are back to the pattern of Registeels are being shared, and Mew as well?
Yeah, 2 Mews, probably not too often where you see both players using Mew. We see the pattern there. I'm trying to think. I think Altaria has a lot of play because it's got 3 pretty dominant matchups against the Talonflame, the Venusaur, and the Swampert. Mew as well is a pretty comfortable matchup for Altaria. I think Altaria only loses the 0 shield and wins every other shield scenario. But then you see, of course, that Wigglytuff Lumen, which is always so scary as a Charmer if you get paired up against a Dragon, and then Registeel, of course. Yeah, both of these players we saw make some fantastic plays, so I'm just excited to see how this one plays out.
Me too. I'm trying to look over on JD Beat's side, and I don't really see one Pokemon over on that team that can really just run rampant over Giratina Belcher's lines. Talonflame looks pretty solid, having lots of favorable matchups like against the Skarmory and the Registeel, and can just do a ton of neutral fire damage. But again, it has its checks as well. So we are going to have to see how these battles play out. I'm very excited as we near our championship battle.
I'll make a prediction, actually. As we start this first battle in the dreaded Altaria versus Wigglytuff lead, I was gonna say, you're not gonna believe me since it just happened, but I was gonna say the Vigoroth safe swap actually looks much more viable this time, because there isn't like a super hard check to Vigoroth. The Talonflame is a decent check, but if you get a head start on energy, you can definitely draw a shield here. So a Vigoroth safe swap, a lot more viable than the previous matchup.
All right, well, here comes the Anger Monkey just throwing body slams like crazy, and you did mention Talonflame, a pretty solid check. The Vigoroth goes down. We're letting that switch timer run out before bringing in the Altaria. Altaria doesn't have to worry too much about flame charges, but does correctly shield a Brave Bird that would have hurt a lot before using Dragon Breaths to clear out that Talonflame. Here comes the Wigglytuff back in, and we see a very, very quick swap into this new matchup of Registeel versus Swampert. Swampert looking real good over on JD Beat's side.
Yeah, it just seems to have completely called Giratina Belcher's line of 3. Had it planned out perfectly, lands the EQ. Oh my goodness. Giratina Belcher felt like he had to make that call. But yeah, this game looks like it's pretty much over with that healthy Wigglytuff still looming in back.
You'd have to almost completely farm down the Swampert.
Yeah, you'd have to farm it down completely, get off like 2 Moonblasts or something. Because I don't think 2 Sky Attacks will even quite be enough. Wigglytuff, kind of a medium, bulky Pokemon. It's not the tankiest in the world, but it's not that glassy either. It can take a hit, and going to be able to charm down the Dragon Breath user here and take game 1 for JD Beats.
Very, very well played. So I believe you. Vigoroth safe swap is definitely one of those tried and true strategies in the Great League, and for a good reason. With a good energy advantage, Vigoroth can do a lot of work. Stab, body slam does crazy neutral damage.
And maybe we'll see Giratina Belcher lead Vigoroth at some point, because it works so well as a safe swap against this team. JD Beats might be expecting that, so he's keeping his Vigoroth counters in the back. So maybe we'll see Giratina Belcher try leading it at some point. Could be okay.
Got your crystal ball. What are you hiding, Rise? All right, so here's the Vigoroth, but Charm does do a lot of work here. Wigglytuff definitely has some favorable matchups against Vigoroth. Vigoroth going to start trying to deal some body slam damage back, but Wigglytuff willing to burn a shield to try to get switch advantage. Oh, switches out instead, brings in the Swampert. To try to deal with this Anger Monkey.
Yeah, Vigoroth, if it has... Oh man, this is not good for the Swampert. But if Vigoroth has good enough IVs, I believe, it can get to 3 body slams against Wigglytuff and force both shields. So despite it being a counter user versus a fairy, it's actually not a great matchup for Wigglytuff because of that normal typing where it takes the neutral damage from the counters. But this game looks like it's kind of flipped from game 1. Giratina Belcher seems to be in control.
All right, so back into that Wigglytuff. So throwing a Sky Attack, but we know Wigglytuff's thick. Decides to burn the last shield. Looks like we're letting... So it looks like we're not letting the Altaria go. We're going to expend a shield, just kind of waiting that switch timer out. Ooh, Talonflame into the Skarmory. So I think we're going to see Talonflame get an opportunity to kind of ramp up here.
But does get to the Brave Bird just barely. The Flame Charge doesn't quite KO. And bang, lands the Brave Bird. Wiggly's going to farm down, but still has enough health on his remaining Pokemon that Vigoroth barely gets the counter down. And that was, that was a nice play by Giratina Belcher. The swap in on the Skarm, and just knew that in the Zero Shield, apparently Skarm wins. Crazy? Maybe not. Maybe it needs a head start on energy to get to that Brave Bird before getting incinerated down. But yeah, nicely done. Nice response. Game 1, pretty comfortable for JD. Game 2, comfortable for Giratina.
All right, so let's see who is going to take the advantage now. We are 1-1. JD Beats versus Giratina Belcher. Let's see who wins this next battle to take advantage. We've got another Vigoroth lead into Wigglytuff. So, like you mentioned, the counter's coming in not very effective,
Ooh.
but we are going to see a switch out into the Mew.
And this is an interesting switch because I would argue Mew has an even worse matchup against Vigoroth than Wigglytuff because your fast move damage is doing virtually nothing. But the Vigoroth decides to switch out into alt, knows the alt isn't going to be much. Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me? Stone Edge Surf? What has gotten into you, JD? Jeez Louise. Oh my goodness.
I don't think I've ever seen Mew throw a Stone Edge before. I think that's a first.
I was not expecting that in the slightest. And suddenly, with 2 shields still in play, this Talonflame looks a lot more menacing this time around against the Skarmory than when all shields were down.
All right, looks like we saw a quick switch into the Vigoroth. Vigoroth shielding here the Flame Charge, and Talonflame starts its dangerous attack where it just really starts to ramp up. But Vigoroth does get to this other Body Slam. Are we going to see a shield? We do. So all shields down over on JD Beat's side, and here comes another Flame Charge. So just, again, continuing that ramp up. One more Body Slam. I don't think clears the Talonflame out. I think Talonflame is still going to get in at least one more Incinerate, maybe 2.
Oh, man.
And the Vigoroth is gone.
Oh, and it has a Flame Charge loaded. And this boosted Flame Charge will definitely KO from that range. Wow. Talonflame got its revenge in this round after losing to the Steel type. It was embarrassed, DPhiE. It was... I'm a Fire type, man. I can't be losing out here to Steel types. This time... doesn't just take out the Steel type, takes out a normal type as well, and makes up for that other loss it had.
Yeah, Talonflame definitely the MVP in that matchup. So now we are at 2-1, favoring JD Beats over Giratina Belcher. So JD Beats only has to win one more battle to take this best of 5. So let's see, can Giratina Belcher fight back and win the next 2, or will JD Beats take this one? So we see Skarmory into Registeel, our 2 Steel Titans battling out. We see an immediate swap into that Vigoroth, and here comes Talonflame to check.
Yeah, nice timing that time by Giratina Belcher, right before the end of Talon's move. So this is better timing than the first time we saw this matchup. Oh my gosh! And calls the Brave Bird. Man, that is rare for people to go for the Brave Bird right away. So incredible call by Giratina Belcher, and this game has suddenly turned around from a terrible lead.
All right, and that switch timer is slowly running out, so we're going to see the Anger Monkey up against Swampert, and Vigoroth can definitely get a ton of work done here. That Body Slam all the way moving into the Skarmory, and we are back in our starting matchup, Skarmory versus Registeel.
Yeah, really like this play. Knows the Swampert and the Reggie are what the opponent has left, so preserves the Vigoroth rather than letting it get Hydro Cannoned, and lures out the Registeel, and now will likely be able to play this out, have the Vigoroth against the Reggie momentarily, and then get Altaria onto the Swampert. So I think Giratina Belcher is in a favorable position right now.
I would definitely agree. So it looks like we are going to let this Skarmory go down to the Flash Cannon, and we are going to see Vigoroth come in immediately, and then before you can even blink, here comes the Altaria to soak this Hydro Cannon, and it is looking real good for Giratina Belcher. I almost thought that was a concession, but it was just a little bit of lag. And here we've got Altaria can comfortably take plenty of these Hydro Cannons. So it looks like the Swampert is going to run out. And then we are going to see the Sky Attack come through. And I think Giratina Belcher has got this one in the bag.
Yeah, really, really nice job. Saw a pretty bad lead, Skarmory into Registeel, and was able to swap the Vigoroth. And this time around, he timed his moves much better against the Talonflame, and he also called the Brave Bird correctly, which totally just flipped the game from there. And a nice job as well of switching out, knowing he was safe to switch out against the Swampert, because if he just lets his Vigoroth go down there, there's a chance that Registeel sweeps the the two flyers and back. So Giratina Belcher played that one extremely well.
All right, so here we have another best of 5 that has gone into that 5th match. We are 2-2. JDBeats3 versus Giratina Belcher. Who is going to be able to read their opponent better and make the adjustment? So taking a look, we've got Vigoroth versus Wigglytuff. We see Wigglytuff swap out into Swampert. Vigoroth farms up to a Body Slam before switching out into the Altaria.
Yeah, third time the charm, I guess JD Beats was hoping for with the lead matchup there, but I don't know. I think JD Beats doesn't like that matchup a little too much because Wigglytuff can hold its own and make it a close matchup, but now you're locking yourself Swampert versus Alt, and I guess the Altaria has taken a bunch of Hydra, so it's kind of low, but now it's got all this energy. I think Giratina Belcher's got to be feeling decent, but it's going to come down to whatever's in back.
All right, so able to get to the Sky Attack before getting charmed down by the Wigglytuff, being able to get a good amount of chip damage in before now we've got 2 pretty serious threats to the Wigglytuff, and we're going to see the Skarmory come out, and here comes the Talonflame. So so Giratina Belcher able to line up the Vigoroth with the Talonflame here.
Went for the 2-shield Talonflame and backstrat once again. This time, however, the Vigoroth is starting out with a lot of banked energy that it had banked before swapping into the Altaria earlier. So this is going to be close. If the Talonflame can get rid of this and do some work against the Skarm, that'll be huge. But the way it's looking, Giratina Belcher, I think, definitely in the favorable spot.
Oh, and makes a switch into Wigglytuff, which Skarmory can handle pretty well. So I think Skarmory has an opportunity here to just kind of get rid of the Wigglytuff and potentially also get rid of the Talonflame.
Man, I'm not sure if this Flame Charge will quite KO. It does, but didn't have a second move banked. And Vigoroth, the spammy angry monkey, I don't know, is able to barely get to the Body Slam and take out the Talonflame. Man, what a 5-game series that was.
Congratulations, Giratina Belcher, moving on to the championship match versus Trogdor8989.
I mean, we saw this last time. We saw them get to the finals and then the number 1 seed able to defend their throne, essentially. They've already won the lobby once. It's kind of like a minor premiership versus major premiership type of deal for those sports folks out there, where Trogdor was able to come out on top of the lobby, but now just has to fight Giratina Belcher, who's fought through some hard-fought games. A 3-2 against Dylan, a 3-2 against JD Beats, and now has to take on Trogdor8989. So we'll take a look at the teams here. This is the only team we have not seen yet, and this is the last game of the show here. So we've got Trogdor's team, and oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that.
I love it. I love oh my gosh. We've got our little pink perfume charmer. We've got Quagsire, who has just not gotten enough love with all these new Mud Boys coming out. But Quagsire has a really diverse and interesting moveset that it has access to. So definitely a strong pick. I'm very interested to see how Trogdor leverages this Pokemon. We've got Altaria shared by both battles. We've got Battlers. We've got Registeel. We've got Vigoroth. So half their team is a mirror match. What are you seeing, Rise?
I'm seeing a unique Charmer selection, I believe. Steve, this is a Pokemon that I've seen. I know how I could probably spell it for you, but I've never actually heard it pronounced. Are you able to help me out there with what this thing is called?
I think it's Aromatisse.
Aromatisse?
I think it's Aromatisse.
We'll go for it.
That's probably in the realm of what I would have said out loud, but thank you, D5. I wanted to be safe. But yeah, okay. Giratina Belcher, once again, the Vigoroth safe swap looks viable. Good against the Reggie, of course. You got the Vig Mirror. it's a favorable matchup against Quagsire, because Quagsire takes a while to get to its moves. But I mean, it's spammy with Mudshot, but it only has hard-hitting moves. And then the Jellicent moveset, I think, is going to be crucial. Because let's say it's got Ice Beam, that's going to give it play against the Altaria. If it's Bubble, that really helps it in the Vigoroth matchup, because Vigoroth can actually beat Jellicent when it's running Hex, Bubble Beam, Shadow Ball, because all you can really do is Bubble Beam the Vigoroth, and you can just keep getting to Bulldozes. So moveset's going to be interesting here. And Aromatisse, interesting from Trogdor. Interesting pick.
Yeah, and Aromatisse has quite the variety of charge moves as well, so kind of some atypical charge moves. So I'm very interested to see. I hope we see an Aromatisse matchup. We're going to see this, I believe, from Giratina Belcher's perspective. So we will have to see. I'm really hoping to see some Aromatisse action in this battle.
Fingers crossed.
All right.
Whiscash into Registeel definitely favors Giratina Belcher here. Are we going to see an immediate swap out? We do, into the Vigoroth. So it looks like both battlers bringing their angriest monkeys to this battle. Whiscash throwing a Mud Bomb before switching out into the Skarmory.
Yeah, and we've seen Giratina Belcher utilize his Vigoroth safe swap, but now he's getting a taste of his own medicine from Trogdor, and didn't bring the Altaria, which is, I'd say, his only like super comfortable response to Vigoroth. So this Skarmory, although the body slams aren't threatening, they do add up over time. And yeah, we're going to see Trogdor try and go for switch advantage here.
All right, so we're going to see Skarmory kind of let this body slam go through. It still lives, but it is not going to be able to get to another move. So we have Whiscash and Vigoroth. We're going to see the Vigoroth maybe try to farm down, but this Vigoroth is going to get to a body slam first. We're going to shield, keep this Vigoroth nice and healthy, and then here we've got Jellicent, and this Jellicent does have Bubble. So is going to be really threatening here to the Vigoroth. So Bubble and Ice Beam.
Bubble, Ice Beam, the moveset you want for this specific matchup against Vigoroth, where you both have a fast move that's going to add up and a charge move that's going to add up. And now the Whiscash, it has a lot of ground to try and cover, and there's really no reason for Trogdor to switch. Just keep chugging away with the jelly, and don't give your opponent a chance to get a big farm on the Reggie. Oh, tried to catch.
Ooh, so on 1 HP is able to throw a body slam, take Whiscash into the red. Whiscash farming it down, has a Blizzard ready, and also or 2 Mud Bombs. So here goes Mud Bomb number 1 onto the Registeel, switches into the Vigoroth, and is going to start ramping up here with those counters, and going to throw a body slam right away as well to get some chip damage.
I guess felt like the Vigoroth wasn't much use against the jelly anymore, so uses it to chip away. Now it's going to try and farm up as much as possible. Get off the Mud Bomb. You've got energy banked for the jelly. I'm not sure the jelly was in Mud Bomb range, though. No, it's not. So needs to get to 2 here. It's going to be awfully close.
It is. So there's Mud Bomb number 1. Does it get to Mud Bomb number 2?
Oh!
It does!
Oh,
and
my
this,
goodness.
I believe it was in range for that second Mud Bomb. So Whiscash on 1 HP and a dream takes this first matchup against Trogdor.
Woo. Whiscash money going off and spamming off those Mud Bombs in the end to seal the deal. Jeez, dancing around once again. We've seen so much of that from not just Giratina Belcher, but from other battlers as well. And wow, barely survived that last bubble and got to the game-winning Mud Bomb. Man, Whiscash deserves some berries after that performance.
Definitely. You better work on your best buddy relationship with that Whiscash. It deserves some love. All right, going into this next matchup. So we've got Skarmory onto Vigoroth, which can be fairly neutral. The counters coming through, they do a lot of work. So it really depends on who's kind of willing to throw shields at this point. So it can kind of depend. Are we going to see one of these battlers switch out?
And Giratina Belcher just taking these moves. Gonna go for the Sky Tag. Built up over the Brave Bird, so could potentially get a shield here. But nope. Trogdor calls it and barely gets to this move. I don't know if Skarmory lives this or not. And it doesn't. Barely KOs.
All right, but here's Vigoroth, and now Vigoroth was able to farm it down and get a bit of an energy advantage, but Jellicent does not care. Jellicent does not care about that energy advantage. Has the moveset to be able to properly deal with the Vigoroth here. Vigoroth is going to be able to get to these bulldozes really, really quick, but just not fast enough to be able to outlive these bubbles that are coming through.
And this is tough. Throwing a body slam, hoping that Trogdor lost Cow and shields, but no, he's keeping track. And yeah, man, this Whiscash, once again, a lot of room to make up. And 2 shields, the Aromatisse. 2 shielded Charmer is the strat. We're seeing a Hail Mary Blizzard. Hail Mary Blizzard doesn't land. F's in the chat. And Aromatisse gonna charm its way to victory. Oh, another Blizzard, okay.
Are we going to see another shield? We are. We're not taking any chances here. We're going to charm that Whiscash right out, and one more little flap of its little wing there, and the Vigoroth goes down as well. So Aromatisse, the MVP for Trogdor. We are now at 1-1 with these 2 battlers.
Man, the 2 shield charmer in back is always an effective strat. I actually played some Sylph today and ran into a Charm Kanto Raichu, and my opponent was, their whole strat was just saving 2 shields for that and back. I actually lost game 1, but was able to adjust in with the second 2 because they kept the same strategy 3 games in a row. So we'll see if this time, if Giratina Belcher plays any differently with that 2 shield charmer strat.
Yeah, and we have definitely seen these battlers throughout this series really making adjustments, being really careful with this best of 5. So we have seen Jellicent has the perfect moveset for this Vigoroth matchup and is going to be able to win here, using that Ice Beam to take Vigoroth down to less than half health. Vigoroth throwing a Bulldoze, hoping to get in some more chip damage. Doesn't even take Jellicent down to half. Those bubbles are really adding up here.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with Giratina Belcher staying in this matchup. I feel like you're kind of letting your opponent off easy. They aggressive swap into Vig, and man, still has yet to bring the Altaria, and doesn't have something he can punish this Vig swap with, but we'll go to Skarmory, which at least can tank all this energy better than the Mew can.
All right, yep, body slams. Skarmory is not too worried about it, but they do add up over time, and you can see those counters slowly chipping away. Skarmory still has 2 shields to hide behind, is not going to leverage them now, and we are going to see our first charge move from the Skarmory getting firing off to actually goes through, hits the Vigoroth down into the red. Are we going to see a shield from Skarmory? We do. Wow. So it looks like Skarmory might take this matchup. Are we seeing a farm down? Not quite. Just a little bit, needed just a little bit more. So it looks like we double shield on the Skarmory and throw a charge move onto the Jellicent, hoping to get that last shield.
Lands the Brave Bird. Oh, landed the Brave Bird, but unfortunately, it's not going to matter because you're going to need to land 2 wild charges here against the Altar, and I don't think you're even going to get there, especially with a shield still in play. Yeah, no way you'd get to 3 wild charges, obviously. So Trogdor able to save that shield and takes the win. Nicely done.
All right, so again, for the championship, Trogdor is up 2-1. So Trogdor only needing to win 1 more battle. Can Giratina Belcher make this a 5-set game, or is Trogdor going to take this one?
I mean, look, we've seen Giratina Belcher go 3-2, then 3-2. They're not unfamiliar with this sort of territory. So if there was anyone that could potentially come back from this one, I think that Giratina Belcher definitely has got a chip on their shoulder as a possibility. But only one way to find out, and that is by jumping into game numero 4 here.
All right, so we've got Skarmory against the Vigoroth again. This one is very shield dependent. Who's willing to burn the shields? Is someone going to switch? And we do see a switch out into, I believe that was the Jellicent. So we're going to see the Sky Attack come through, and then we're going to see the switch into a Whiscash.
Okay, I kind of like this play from Giratina Belcher. You chip it with a Sky Attack, and you swap into Whiscash. Whiscash will be able to outpace here. You're also not worried about Bubble Beam baits against this Jellicent because you've seen both charge moves. So safely knows he can outpace this rather significantly. And we'll see if we see a shield. No, Jellicent goes away.
Yep, and we're going to see Trogdor try to leverage that Vigoroth, give it a really big energy advantage, see if we can farm down this Whiscash. Can we do it? Oh, Whiscash just barely not able to get to that last Mud Bomb. So Vigoroth coming in with a bunch of energy, which can be very, very dangerous. So Vigoroth going straight ahead, going to start throwing that energy to get that Skarmory. Skarmory switches out into the mirroring Vigoroth.
Oh, wow. Not going to shield the Body Slam. That's going to hurt. Now you kind of have to shield this one. I guess knew that multiple were going to get off, so I was going to let one go through. And there's the Registeel. Okay. These counters really chipping away, and there's really no point in going for that Bulldoze, in my opinion. You just got to chip away with these Body Slams. But, you know, I could take that back, right? Because this Reggie is going to get to another move before you get to two moves. So we're going to see another bait here. This is going to be a huge call from Trogdor. Do you shield? You do shield. Oh, but just going straight for the Body Slam. Okay. Knows that he's going to get outpaced.
Oh, and tries to catch the switch and does. So Skarmory here is going to eat that Flash Cannon. Saves the Vigoroth for later, and Skarmory able to get to a move here.
I think this should barely be enough to KO. It is. The Vig is pretty low. Only win con is to farm down. Isn't able to. What a close finish. Yet again, Giratina Belcher staying alive and farms down. Man.
So we are in for a treat. We are 2-2. We have Giratina Belcher brings it to the 5th battle. So this is for the championship. It all rides on this last battle. Is it going to be Trogdor with the interesting Charmer choice? We haven't seen that Quagsire yet. Or are we going to see Giratina Belcher dancing around and able to win this one?
Just such hard-fought battles. They have not come easy. And it all comes down to this. Whiscash versus Jelly. Okay, pretty neutral.
Yep, so Jellicent going to be getting some fast move pressure here with the bubbles, but we do know Jellicent's moveset. So like you said earlier, Whiscash does outpace a little bit here. Going straight for the Shadow Ball does a bunch of damage.
Yeah, could have timed his Mud Bomb there a little bit better, but has all this energy to work with. Once again, he's throwing after 2 Mud Shots. Should probably be throwing after 1 or 4 for the best possible timing. And now makes the decision to shield, but it's a safe shield because you know you're not going to get baited. You know it's a Shadow Ball. And just wants to get rid of this Jellicent so his Vigoroth can avoid it.
Right, and Whiscash probably one of the best answers to that Jellicent. So Whiscash clearing the Jellicent and is able to get a good chunk of the Vigoroth as well. So letting that switch timer go down a little bit, thinking out our decision before moving into Skarmory. Vigoroth has a bit of an energy lead, but those Body Slams aren't really going to be doing too much.
Yeah, we've seen this matchup so many times now, and was probably glad the Mud Bomb landed to chip away at this thing a little bit, because it puts it into Sky Attack range here. So the Vigoroth will have to shield to not get KO'd. It does shield. Wants to tank all this energy on Skarmory rather than his Vigoroth. And I expect probably a quick swap out here. Yep. Swaps out to Vig. And it's the Charmer.
No!
Oh my gosh.
And Aromatisse doesn't, I don't think Aromatisse has that normal typing like Wigglytuff does. So those counters are doing nothing.
Oh, but he might get to 3 body slam, and double body slam could be enough right here. Oh, it's gonna be so close. Oh my gosh.
I don't think it's gonna quite do it.
Body slam.
Oh, it
barely
does?
gets it. 1 counter. Still has a shield. No way! Giratina Belcher finds the win con. Oh my gosh. Could not have been any closer. A game 5, winner take all, and comes down to 1 HP in the end. Oh my goodness gracious. How about that finish? Unbelievable.
Absolutely fantastic battles. Giratina Belcher, congratulations for taking the Cherrygrove Championship.
That was an absolutely incredible. I mean, Giratina Belcher has just shown themselves to be the grittiest battler here. 3-2, 3-2, and 3-2. Stares in the face of a 2-0 down and just able to come out on top. I think that one was a 1-1 and then able to just clinch it in the end. Aromatisse putting on so much pressure in the end. I personally was sitting here thinking it was all over at that point. I thought that was Trogdor's set to win, but Giratina Belcher never giving up, able to use that Vigoroth safe swap so perfectly and able to take out the championship. And of course, again, we have the JD Beats and Trogdor both going ahead into the God tier finals as well. But just truly amazing battles all day here. Back over here. It was an incredible set of battles, an incredible set of finals. And that's only the first third of the Go Stadium League finals. There's still Vermilion, there's still Pewter, there's still God tier, and there is certainly a fourth one that I'm forgetting as well. But there is still plenty to look forward to. I mean, Reis and DPhiE, you guys have been absolutely incredible. These have been an amazing set of battles, and I've been lucky to be here. I'm as happy as Larry. But I mean, Reis, have you got any closing words before we let the good people go, and then also let us know where we can find you after this.
Yeah, no worries, Steve. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And the battles, they made it easy. It made it fly by because those are some incredible matches. Got to see some spicy Pokemon featured. Didn't always work like the Caracosta we saw, but sometimes they did work in spurts. And a lot of fun. And yeah, you can find me Reis2Occasion, Reis2The Occasion on YouTube, and I'll toss it over to DPhiE.
All right, thank you so much to Go Stadium for organizing everything. Thank you so much, Steve, for having me on Reis, and you know it's always a pleasure to work with you. These were fantastic battles, just some heart-stopping ones, lots of 1 HP and a dream situations. Just so much fun. So I am DPhiE250, DPhiE250 on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. Another place you can find me is on the GoCast podcast. I do a segment of their podcast every single week called the PvP Corner with my co-host of that segment, Fish on a Heater. So those are a couple places you can find me if you're interested in seeing some more DPhiE250.
Absolutely. All of the links are going to be in the description down below, so you can go ahead and click on all of them. But seriously, huge thank you to Go Stadium for putting all of this on. Again, if you actually want to get involved with the Go Stadium structure, there's going to be a link in the description down below to join the server, and then I think you want to go to the GOS tiered structure. I think that's the channel name that you can do to join at the ace tier, fight your way through, and maybe one day you as well will be found in these league finals up against some of the best battles in the world. So again, huge thank you to Reis, huge thank you to DPhiE, and thank you to all of the Go Stadium team for helping put all of these graphics together as well. I mean, look how cool the stadium is. Like the little things going around. Like, that's awesome. Catch this again, as I said before, this is only the first third. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. ET with SpeediestChief and JimmaBanks, and we will be live for the next set of finals. Subscribe if you haven't already, because hey, why not? But definitely check in for that. And yeah, I think that's all we have to say. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.